How'd you like that, huh?
I liked it.
Do you want to hear it again?
No.
Oh. Okay. I'm just checking.
I'm still laughing from the first one.
Well, you better watch yourself now. 189 on a scale this morning, baby. I got a whole new leash on life.
Why? What's going on with you?
Well, now, you didn't know Bob Lassiter,
Oh, you
did
didn't
you?
tell me the Lassiter story, no.
Well, I don't have it.
But I gathered from listening to you that he's diabetic, and what happened?
He's in bad shape. It's a little bit too late, but I think learning from his example, I think his mentor's life may be saved because, and I got to thank the guy in Lakeland, what's his name again? Daryl, who faxed me on Friday. In the last 5 days, I haven't had one drop of sugar, candy, ice cream, crap, nothing. I've lost 4 pounds down to 189, and I don't have any desire for it anymore. I just walk right by it in the supermarket or the convenience store. I don't even look at that crap. Diabetes is no, well, you'll find out. He's already had a foot amputated. He's going blind.
Yep.
He's in bad shape. And I ripped him after reading that on Friday, and I have to apologize for that today because it was not the right thing to do. I mean, see, is one thing. I remember Mike Disney once said, comparing me and Steve Kane, he says, Neil knows where to draw the line. Steve doesn't have any line. He has no line. And we got somebody like that on this radio station who has no line. I don't want to mention any. I don't want to get into personalities, but nevertheless, I will. Going to rip him an ass.
He has no life?
He has no line.
Oh, no
he doesn't know where to draw the line. He's all over the place, and especially off the air, behind the scenes. I want this one fired right now, and I'm going to all this other crap. Remember there was a character on Howdy Doody called Mr. Bluster?
Sure. Phineas
That's him. That's him, Mr. Bluster.
Okay, so today it's Neil and Phineas, and then
and Howdy Doody.
No more Mad Dog for the rest of the year.
Oh, that's right. He's done his last show of the year, and today's only December 15. Boy, what a guy. More power to him, man. I'm all for the talent.
He's my hero.
That's right. Me too. He ain't no Dan LaBastard, but I understand Jason Cole was on this morning for Defoe on the other across the street. Jason Cole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they can put the paper boy on the air next if somebody's sick over there. The newspaper boy. Hey, kid, you want to go be on radio? Yeah, of course, we got some people, too, you know.
Not like that.
So the Beast is pushing for his own show now.
That's okay. I don't mind ambition.
And I said, you're going to abandon the humper? And he said, yeah. Nice, very nice.
Beast.
Well, these guys, they all have delusions of fantasy, you know.
Let me tell you something.
Please.
Beast works hard on his show. He does. And, he's always willing to pitch in when he's called on. I have no problem with the Beast.
Well, good.
And you know what? If he has ambitions to move on, good for him.
More power to him.
Yep.
As the Chinese say, gig isn't to hate.
Exactly.
Right.
I can replace him in a flash.
Oh, no. That's
Thanks,
bad. That was really a shot. And the guy is giving up the bread. I'm trying to save his life.
Yeah.
It's just, when you talk about it in generic terms, like, oh, well, this is going to happen and that's going to happen, and it doesn't mean anything. But when somebody is suffering the ravages of what you could be in, 6 months,
well,
6 years.
Vino's lost, I don't know if it's a foot. I know he's lost some toes.
Really?
Yeah.
I told you the story about remember Big Daddy? He had the hot Big Daddy Knapp.
Yes, sure.
He had the hot dog place on Lincoln Road Mall.
Yeah, Larry Knapp.
And then I've told this story many times, but it's just shocking to show you how people are just sad. And they tried to reopen the Famous over there in Dania. They had that Pink Palace there by Dania Highline, and they reopened the Famous, and it only lasted for a few months. Remember that?
Yes.
So it was a sponsor of mine, so I went there for lunch one day. I ordered the kishki, by the way. They didn't have any. Pissed me off. But anyway, so Larry and his wife sit down at my table, and we're talking, and big, fat people. And she's about to go in to have a leg amputated, as I recall, and they're both diabetic. And as we're sitting there talking, the waiter or waitress comes over, and they both order a chocolate egg cream, and they're pouring the chocolate syrup into the... And I sat there, even being the pig that I was at the time, and I'm thinking to myself, you're telling me that you're diabetic and you're getting it amputated and you're sitting here eating chocolate syrup in front of me? It's very sad.
Some of us have to live with that hanging over us. And
I understand. It's a battle, and if I were skinny talking about it, I would be a jackass. I mean, pointing the finger, but I've been through it all my life, and you make excuses to yourself. Well, I'm addicted to this. You're not addicted to it. It's just habit. It's just easy to make the excuse. Oh, I'm addicted to this, and I'm addicted to eating whenever the hell I feel like it, whether I'm hungry or not. And you're not. You're not addicted, because if you were addicted, how could I quit cold turkey Friday afternoon after reading that fax and that blog? How could I just say, okay, I'm no more? I don't even have any desire for it anymore. Well, if you're addicted to something, you can't just do that.
I don't think sugar's addictive, is it?
Well, I think I look at it this way. It's addictive from the standpoint of refined carbohydrates because of the stuff they put in there, the chemicals, that when you start eating, it's like the Pringles spots, you can't eat only one.
Yeah.
And that's because they put chemicals on there that stimulate your taste buds. So when you eat a little bit, you want more. Instead of satisfying your appetite, you want more and you become ravenous. But if you don't eat it at all, you're a lot better off. And that's what I'm doing. I'm not touching it. Oh, the polls are open in Iraq. There's Christiana Amanpour, another network shill, man. I'm going to tell you, they need to take out the CNN and MSNBC. And, of course, Fox goes without saying. Just when in doubt, take them out. Let's get Pat Robertson on the case.
Oh, God.
Well, you remember what he said about Hugo Chavez?
Yep.
When in doubt, let's take him out for lunch. Maybe you ought to take Mo out for lunch. Maybe you two could bond a little bit. Maybe you could try to humanize him a little bit.
Yeah, I got some lunch for you.
Oh, for me.
How about some pizza, huh? I've been feeling a big pizza fan.
Yeah. No. I'll send them one.
Yeah. So the number of people that I have a death wish for has been reduced now. It's down to 2. One is the unmentionable one, whom we all know. And the other one we also all know. That's beside the point. A serious death wish, and I'm not joking about that. I have never seen such a Schmidt disturber, evil person, a thing. I wouldn't even say person, would be getting carried away, as that. Nice going, Greg, man. You know how to pick him. Let's send Greg down to those, what do they call them, the you pick 'em fields down there where they pick the strawberries and the tomatoes down there in the Ranger, wherever it is.
You should come back for next week.
No. No, thanks. For what? I won't even be there next week. I'm going to be on vacation next week. Tomorrow's our last get-together for a while.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
How long are you gone for this time? A week?
Just a week.
Okay.
What do you mean this time?
Well, I had one in October.
And then, of course, there's 80,000 days in the summertime.
Yeah.
What's wrong with not like Mad Dog, though?
No.
Boy, that's...
I got to
tip my cap to him, man. That is really beautiful. That's a case of the student passing the teacher like I was standing still, like I was laying out prone.
Yep.
And he owes a vote of thanks. You ought to call him. Hey, by the way, thank you, Joel Feinberg, for getting Hank and Mad Dog such good deals. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we like him.
How do you like that deal? Remember that voicemail he left for Greg that we played on the air about?
The Bo Camper one.
Yeah. Don't make
the same mistake.
Camper.
Don't make the same mistake, right?
Yeah. Because we don't really want him in.
Hey, listen, you don't have us. It opens it up for Jason Cole.
I'd like to see Bo Camper go in there and just step on him and just sit on him. I've never seen Joel Feinberg. I don't know whether he's like 2 feet tall or 10 feet tall, but Bo Camper could squash him like a gnat. I'd like to see him just go in there just for old time's sake and just squash him. Just sit right on his, ass. I was going to say sit on his face. That's bad. Sorry, Joyce.
Ooh.
Joel might enjoy it.
It's 10:06, folks.
It's on my time. Oh, God. That is a panic. Well, on that note, and I did, you'll be pleased to know, I had a nice comeback at Woodbine. I started out pretty good, then I started doing real bad, and I left my machine, and this couple came along and got $1,000 on the line. I was really PO'd, and then I went back to it, and I made most of my money back. Lost only $500, which, considering I was losing my ass, was pretty good.
Saturday they have 4 stakes races at Calder. Good ones.
Well, I won't be, I'll be abroad.
Today you can watch. Oh, yeah. Where are you going? Where are you going on your trip?
To Amsterdam.
No. You haven't been there for a while, have you?
A few months.
Yeah.
I go there maybe once a year now. I get around. Berlin, Cologne, Rome, Barcelona.
You like
Prague.
Berlin, didn't you? We talked about Berlin.
Oh, Berlin is just, I'll tell you, anybody that wants to go, the first place that you want to go in Europe.
It's one of the great cities in the world.
I would say Rome #1 and Berlin #2. Yeah. It really is.
I enjoyed Berlin a lot.
And if people got some time, like maybe a couple of weeks, they really ought to make it over to Cologne. Have you ever been in Cologne?
No.
Oh, man. Now, if you go to Amsterdam, you get on the train, and it's only about a 2-hour train trip from Amsterdam. And on that high-speed, that ICE train, piece of cake. And you take maybe a couple of magazines or a newspaper, and by the time you're finished reading it, you're already there. And Cologne is just sensational, beautiful, very modern. They got that big, the Dom, every city in Europe's got that big church, the huge, right by Central Station, by the train station. In fact, the train station is beautiful itself. They got all these shops and restaurants. It's fabuloso, man. Cologne's great.
Sounds like a plan for me.
And unlike South Florida, all these young, living and breathing, beautiful people. I'll tell you one thing, man. I don't care what anybody says. Let me say it again for the umpteenth time. Although I've never been in Asia, but to me, of the places I've been in Sweden, I've been in Finland, I've been in a lot of places. The people in Germany, man, not in southern Germany, not in Frankfurt. Those people are like mostly mugwumps. But in Cologne and Berlin, those are the most beautiful people in the world there. It's scary.
I love
really
Berlin.
Scary.
You haven't been to Australia?
No. Well, they're too busy beating up Lebanese now, so I don't want to go there. Now, what? Have you been to Australia?
A few years ago, yeah.
Yeah, that's a long trip, boy.
Yeah, it's a schlep.
Yeah, 24 hours, I think.
Yeah, but I liked it.
We're getting a foot of snow here today, by the way. There's almost no snow on the ground right now, but this afternoon it's going to start. We're getting 30 centimeters, which I looked that up. That's a foot of snow just before I leave, so I hope the hell I get out of here tomorrow.
Well, I hope so for you, and I hope you have a wonderful trip. Well, you're gone tomorrow.
Well, I'll be here tomorrow.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Where are you going to be? You going to call in sick tomorrow?
No, I'll be here.
Good.
So
always a good idea to show up.
Be able to send you off.
I'm sure there's somebody that would love to send me off. Off the planet. Yeah, I got plenty to say about that child today too. Believe me, I'm.
Let me ask you, why would you suggest a lunch with us?
I'm just joking. You think I'm serious?
Yeah.
You really think I'm serious?
No.
I can't even envision that. I can't even imagine that.
I mean, where would we go? Where they allow food fights.
Well, you missed Wolfie's in Boca. That's out of business now. It's closed down, so it's too late for that.
All those good old places.
Yeah.
I drove past the Rascal House last night.
Well, that would be a good place. You can go in there, a couple of old Jews. You can go in the Rascal House.
Exactly. And they have a big sign up.
Try to attack each other with those knives they got in there, with the plastic knives.
Yeah, they have a big sign up now. It says open 24 hours.
Oi!
Waiter wanted. So, if things don't work out over the sushi lunch, never mind.
I can't imagine waiter wanted in that place.
Oh, could you imagine being a waiter there?
Well, that's what used to happen at the Wolfies on 21st there on the beach. I told you, 3 different times I was in there and waitresses ripped off their aprons and ran out. This is a crazy house. Because the clientele were just impossible. I used to think it was the people they hired. It was a chicken and the egg thing, which came first, but it was definitely the clientele. That's when South Beach was a lot different than it is now. Nasty old Jews, man. That was.
They used to sit outside in front of those old hotels where now they're all very chic.
Remember they had all those pictures in Wolfie's in the celebrity room, all the pictures of Jackie Gleason and all the other people that eaten there, all the big celebrities. Yep. Well, that celebrities 50 years ago.
Yes.
It was quite a place.
Milton Berle and yes. Arthur Godfrey.
Right. The biggest anti-Semite that ever.
Yeah.
Have you ever figured that out?
No.
Why they named a street on Miami Beach, which used to be like a 90% Jewish, after one of the worst? How about Adolf Hitler Way? Is that coming next?
Yeah. Hank Meyer got that done.
He got
the old publicist.
Arthur Godfrey Road?
Yeah.
Well, you used to work for him, didn't you?
No.
I thought you worked for him.
No, I worked for an ad agency. He had a PR firm.
I see.
I knew Hank.
But you knew him?
Yes.
Well, why did he do a thing like that? Was he anti-Semitic?
He was the guy who promoted Arthur Godfrey, had arranged brought the television
Arthur
show
Godfrey
here.
Never hired one Jew to work on his. Did you know that? And that wasn't by accident either, although Holly Loki may have been Jewish. I don't think so. Remember Holly Loki?
Yeah.
And Tony Marvin?
Yep.
And who was it that he fired on the air? It was Julius LaRosa. He fired him on the air.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yes.
That's pathetic. So, by the way, Beast, it's been nice knowing you, but you're fired, it. He's about the only other guy that I could imagine firing somebody on the air in the middle of a show. You're fired, it. Get out of my way. And don't be stealing my pizza. Well, listen, have a great day. It's already in this first break. It's nice to kill in some good time. No, really, it helps a lot when you get to be this advanced age like we are. It helps tremendously. Yeah. It's almost like having Ira on to kill her.
You know what? We're getting to be like a couple of yentas,
Yeah, it's like that. Well, it's like Ginger and what does he call you? Like, Henrietta and Ginger over the backyard fence. I got news for you, Mo man. It's more entertaining in these 10 minutes every day than you ever do in 50 hours.
I'm standing at the concierge desk where I live. And these, they have a banquet room, not a banquet room, but a meeting room downstairs. And these 3 women come in, asked where the Hadassah meeting was. And as they walked away, I said, I'd have never guessed. You should have seen that crowd.
Oi!
I can only imagine.
Au
It
revoir.
reminds me of my show at the Hallmark. Maybe I'll have to tell that story again. My remote at the Hallmark when I was on W Snooze. They're all schlepping in the back to eat the food, making noise in the middle of the show, and then during a break, the salesperson comes up to me and says, "They don't like the topic. Change the topic. They don't like it."
That's like Shecky Green appeared at Century Village. And he told me when he got up there, he looked at the audience and he said, you people didn't need a comedian. You should have hired a doctor.
Yeah, should have hired a mortician. Have a great day.
Hey, you too.
And keep that money in your pocket.
Yeah, I will today.
See ya.
Hi, this is Red Deer Randy Moeller. Atlantic Coast Mortgage is the only mortgage company in South Florida at the same location since 1982. Why would you deal with someone else? One branch and ready to help serve you. If you want a free cruise, don't call them. If you want it to rain on a sunny day, don't call them. If you don't want to pay closing costs, don't call them. If you want great... call them at Atlantic Coast Mortgage. In Dade, call 305-944-0733 or in Broward and Palm Beach at 954-987-8077 for Atlantic Coast Mortgage.
ORBB. That's Orange Bowl basketball. Orb is a doubleheader basketball brawl featuring Coach Leonard Hamilton's Florida State Seminoles calling to the court the Nebraska Cornhuskers, followed by your hometown Hurricanes challenging NCAA Final Four powerhouse Louisville.
Rogers got.
All right. Let's abuse some more prisoners. Make them scream nice and loud.
Absolutely.
Get me some wires and a battery pack. I don't care if they ain't from my rack. Should be used to the torture. 'Cause we're just playing their game. In the past, it had to be worse with Saddam Hussein.
Oh, okay, 10:14. I had to play a short bit there because the Humper and I, Henrietta and Fagadorn and Ginger. Right. Oh, he didn't say anything, which is probably just as well. What?
Well, I don't want to get in the middle of that.
Why not? You could have jumped right in. And of course,
Surly
the Beast.
Fest.
The Beast, by the way, is off the bread, trying to save his life too. Anyway, we better do the break. It's 10:15 already. We might have to do like side by each break.
This is Neil
Sorry about
Rogers.
that.
This is 560 QAM. Rock solid.
17th and Sunday, December the 18th at the historic Orange Bowl in Miami. See the top teams from across 6 South Florida counties fighting it out on the gridiron to see who is the best Orange Bowl youth football team. For more information, log on to orangebowl.org or call the Orange Bowl at 305-341-4702. And remember, champions think orange and get the patch.
Hank Goldberg. Weekday morning, 7 to 10.
Stan Van Gundy joins us, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
A lot's been said about Pat looming over me and all of that. And, just to make it very simple, Pat brought me into the NBA. I was unemployed at the time. Then Pat gave me a chance to be a head coach in the NBA. And then he allowed me to do what I wanted to do in this situation. And my family is set up that we can do this. I owe everything to the guy. And this is characterization that he was stabbing me in the back and things like that is just ridiculous and does not reflect the appreciation that I have for him and that my family has for him.
The Hammer, Hank Goldberg, 7 to 10. Sports Radio 560 QAM. Take a break and laugh out loud with Neil Rogers.
Hello, Neil?
Yes, sir.
Listen, you have a bit that goes, gay, oi. Hey, look, I'm like gay, man. I just like to show that I'm like gay. You have one that goes, gay.
Gay. Gay.
That was good.
Oh, man.
Neil Rogers, weekdays from 10 to 2 on 560 QAM. Here's what's happening online at WQAM.com. Register to win Miami Dolphins tickets courtesy of Presidente Imported Beer, the true taste of real beer. And that's what's happening online, a service of Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Enough with the puking!
Dingleberry, dingleberry, dingleberry doy. I'm very upset and I'm very annoyed. I give it a ding and I give it a tug and drag my bony ass across the rug. Dingleberry, dingleberry, dingleberry doy. They got me shaking and doing like a dance. I'm using my hand with a kung fu grab. Like I got ants in my pants. When they multiply, makes a sound like a crunch when I walk this way. Spend my spare time in my behind. Pick them dingleberries away. Making a trail right down to my knees. In that dark, I'm at an attack. Dingleberry motions are tickling me. I got the dingleberry. I got the dingleberry. I got the dingleberry doy.
Can you tell me what this HUSNAD, my husnad?
I beg your pardon?
The thing you just faxed me here.
I think it meant to say husband.
What? On today's poll?
The one that's on there right now.
The last thing most guys want to be called is my husband?
Right.
Okay, whatever you say, Jim. Jim is my husband, by the way. I have no idea what that's all about. Maybe that's Jim who's used to be married to that. I don't know. Anyway, here's the poll result from yesterday. Then there's only one story that I want to do first. I got a few later on, but I got to go into this whole emotional thing. It is emotional. I don't think anything on this show ever has affected me the way that fax, and of course that started like a chain of events, the fax we got last Friday.
The domino effect.
The fax domino effect from, what's his name again? Daryl. Daryl in Lakeland. Thanks, Daryl. Because it looks like it'll have a positive end.
Good.
Well, at least, in some respects. Something good will come from it. The last thing most guys want to be called is, let's see how many votes we got on there, 1,447. Wait till you see tomorrow's poll. I like it a lot. Eric's already got it, or he should have. The last thing most guys want to be called is Fag 361. You faggot. My bitch 213. The P word 174. That's P-U. Oh, I'm sorry. P-U. Coward 124. A loser 117. Effeminate 88. I wonder if David Thampton's ever been called that. Whip 49. David Thampton and Delilah. Fat 47. Wimp 44. Liar 40. Dumb 33. Like your president. Dumb. Dangerous though. A phony 29. An a-hole 28. Ugly 24. Now it's interesting because let's see, the top 4 or 5 there have like a ton of votes. Top 5 or 6. And then after that, it's not really all that much. A phony 29, a-hole 28, ugly 24, pretty 18. A wannabe 14, fruitcake 13, crook 13, cheap 11, scrawny 7, and beautiful only 6. I thought that most macho guys didn't want to be called beautiful. That it kind of like out of 14 out of 56 votes, by the way, it kind of like It
ain't good, but there's so many other worse choices on there.
It ain't good?
No.
So in other words, if somebody said you were beautiful, which of course you're not, but I mean if you were, and they said that would be disturbing.
If who said it?
Anybody. Oh, I see. So in other words, if a guy said it,
yeah, run like
then
a son of a
offensive.
Bitch. Right.
George, you're beautiful.
Ha! Come give me a kiss.
I got news for you. That studio right now is not going to be. It's not going to be overblown by beauty at any point. And we got too many liners here. This is. I realize it's the holiday season, but Clarence, this is getting way out of control. I mean, we got a show to do here. We got plenty of spots to put on the air, and I'd like to have a little bit of show in between. The Big O's Holiday Toy Drive is underway to benefit Miami Children's Hospital. Drop Box is located at the Doral Kendall North Miami Ale House, as well as the Carolina Ale House. Unwrapped toys can be donated at these locations during normal business hours. And look for the QAM van right now as I speak at the Hess Station, 107th Ave and 41st Street in Doral. Stop by to drop off a new unwrapped toy for the Big O's. Oh, now see, it's the same old stuff. Gosh, dang, man. Stop by to drop off a new unwrapped toy for the Big O's Holiday Toy Drive to benefit Miami Children's Hospital. That's 107th and 41st Street in Doral. Van will be there too. So I guess I'll replace the other one because this is like a slop over. It's pretty much the same thing. Mm-hmm. Which would have been nice if somebody would have pointed that out. Clarence, you are still in that booth talking up your ass, man. You're just pathetic. Oh, it was sure very illuminating and elucidating for him coming in there this morning. Not. Sure gave us some really interesting information. Not. Okay, here's one piece of interesting information before I go into my rant, which I will. I might spend like 2-3 hours on it. Just pouring my guts.
All right.
No,
Lose weight.
seriously, I made it, and you participated, but then again, it was just one of those things. You're such a hard-ass spick that it's easy for you to rag on people that you don't even really know all that well.
Like who?
Like Blobbo.
I was ragging on him.
You chimed right in there.
I was ragging on him.
Yes. Well, I was, and you chimed right in.
Saying what?
About, I don't want to, can we save it till we go into the chronological order of the whole thing?
Okay.
Now, are you denying it?
That I ragged on him?
Just like you deny that you hate Rick Riley. I don't know why.
I'm denying all
There are
of
a lot
it.
of people that hate Rick Riley from the Suds and Rick program.
I didn't rag on Blobbo. I'll be happy to repeat anything that I did say.
Well,
and I don't hate Rick Riley. All right.
Let's save it. I beg your pardon?
And I don't hate Rick Riley.
You dislike him intensely.
No, not even.
You're not fond of him.
I'm okay with him.
You don't want to go to lunch with him unless
I'm
he
lukewarm
buys.
on him. How's that?
That's pretty good.
Hey, just like you only have two people that you reserve the hatred and all that stuff
That
for.
is right.
I also have a very
I said three
short
last
list.
week, and I apologize right now for that. I had no reason to. I don't know what Like I told you before the show, when you're away from a person for a long time, they become almost like a cartoon character, like they're not for real. You know what I mean? And out of sight, out of mind, and then you start it gets into a whole shtick thing. But there's a big difference between shtick and for real. Although there are some people in this business who don't know where that line is. They haven't got a clue where it is.
What do you mean?
And they also have no sense of humor. But we'll also get to that, believe me. Okay, here's the one thing I want to do before we do the next break. Oh, God. Can you believe it? Well, that's what happens.
Another break already?
Well, it's coming. Bear with us. Columnist Bob Novak, who first published the identity of covert CIA officer Valerie Plame, says he's confident that President Bush knows who leaked Plame's name.
Oh, my God.
Novak said, I'd be amazed if the president didn't know the source's identity and that the public should bug the president as to whether he should reveal who the source is. Novak's remarks, reported in the Raleigh, North Carolina News and Observer, came during a question and answer session Tuesday after a speech sponsored by the John Locke Foundation, a conservative think tank. Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer urged Bush to identify Novak's source or to say he doesn't know who it is. Right. Or maybe he just got bad memory.
This is Neil Rogers.
He just forgot.
This is 560 QAM.
Delicious, honey.
I know, but where's Garrett? Honey, ready for dinner?
No way, Mom. That smells heinous. I can't eat that crap.
Is the junkie in your family overly critical of your cooking? Are you in need of something to bring back his strung-out appetite? Hi, my name's Barb Bituant, and I'm here to announce a breakthrough in kitchen appliances that'll restore your drug-addicted child's appetite just in time for Christmas. Introducing the Crack Pot. Now, you can cook up those shrooms, microdots, yellow bees, ganja, smack, and angel dust with the Crack Pot.
Honey, ready for dinner?
No way, Mom. That smells... Hey, dude! Mom! That smells righteous!
Thanks, Crackpot.
The Crack Pot. The perfect Christmas gift for the strung-out junkie in your family. Available now at the Bob Marley Paraphernalia Store.
10:32 at QAM. Here's our award-winning schedule. Mo Howard David did Such As He Is 2 to 4 this afternoon with his bombastic approach to life. Joe Zagacki for the Mad Dog at Smoky Bones 4 to 7.
Joe Zagacki sucks, okay?
Jesse Agler, very briefly now, don't get panicky, 7 to 7:30 because we got another Panther game tonight. Panthers preview 7:30. It's an 8 o'clock start, I guess, for ESPN or ESPN2 or the Deuce, the Trace, whatever. Red Wings in town to play the Panthers, looking for 2 in a row now after a big win the other night. And then Eddie K at Seminole Hard Rock after the hockey game. Maybe we should also put on the poll, but I doubt it.
Hey, that's a good-looking guy.
Like that. But I guess not.
No.
I just played that. Just an excuse to play it. So anyway, for people that might have been like busy over the holiday, all the stuff going on, Friday. At what time did that come in? Was that like late in the show on Friday?
What?
The first fax from Daryl in Lakeland.
I don't remember. Was
about
it
Bob
Friday?
Lassiter in his blog. Well, whenever it came in, I think it was later on in the show. And for those who don't know, Bob Lassiter was a guy who was in fact, I'll read this thing again because I read it really hastily toward the end of the show yesterday, and probably most people missed it from his blog that Daryl faxed to me yesterday. But he was a guy who was a talk show host in the market years ago, and then he went over to Tampa, and he became like the big cheese there, big literally and figuratively, a big heavy guy. And then went to WLS in Chicago for a couple of years, and then back into Tampa, and then was out of the business. He had a big contract dispute at WFLA about 6 years ago, and then was off the air. And that was it. It's the last we heard about him. So we get a fax from Daryl in Lakeland on Friday that says Bob Lassiter is in bad shape. He's diabetic, as you know, and he's had a foot amputated, and he's losing his eyesight, and he's got a blog. And my reaction to that was just totally unacceptable. I have no idea why the hell I did that, and I really feel bad about it. I try to think of anything else I've ever said on the air in 30 years that I felt bad about.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of too much. Can you?
That you feel bad about?
Yeah.
No.
That I said, gee, I wish I wouldn't have said that. I really don't know why I said it. But like I said before, it's like out of sight, out of mind. And people become, on these shows, they become like, characters in some kind of an unfolding soap opera, and they're like not even for real anymore, especially when you haven't seen them in years and years, and you haven't known about them in many years. So my reaction to that was totally unacceptable, and I do apologize for that, and also want to retract it. The only thing I ever apologized for before was, and this is on my own, nobody has, believe me, the management of this station wouldn't know Bob Lassiter if he sat on their head. And believe me, he wouldn't want to. But once before, I was thinking about this morning. Rick Shaw, of all people. I was at I&Z, and it had to do with Rick and Suds, as I recall, and the fact that they hated him like poison because they said he was impossible to work for and stuff like that. Remember that?
Yeah, what about it?
Well, but anyway, it's
a lie. I am not a Nazi.
See, that was Rick, who now, of course, is a big friend of ours and listens to probably, hey, Rick, how's it going? Happy generic holidays, Ricky Ticky, and wash that cat for the New Year. But anyway, so he was like threatening to sue because I went on the air and I said he was a Nazi, and right away the station required me to read an apology on air. Not read one, but make one up. So I made an apology, but of course I made sure that I made it worse than the original one, and I said, I had said the other day that Rick Shaw was a Nazi, and it's not with a capital N, it's with a small n, and I explained the difference, etc. So I actually made it a lot worse.
You bastard.
Yeah. And then turned out that Rick Shaw happens to be, at least in my book, he's a pretty good guy. Over 40 years on the air in this godforsaken market, baby. He's okay in our book. A little on the right wing, but nevertheless. But in this particular case, though, and I said some evil, awful things about, and here's a guy that's in bad shape. And, of course, being a fat slob myself and being diabetic and fooling myself and eating these voluminous amounts of ice cream and, working with some other very, very fat, I don't want to mention any names, like the one that's sitting in the other room now, although nice job on the bread now.
Got to keep it up.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying. As long as you're still alive, there's a chance
of not dying.
But the thing about my reaction to that is that, so I went online, I read the blog, Bob Lassiter's blog, and it's so depressing because here's a guy that realizes now, too late, that he's abused his body with fat for so many years, and now he's suffering the consequences of it. And that's why I keep warning people, like Hank and like some certain, with his good genes, that diabetes is not, everything you have heard about it and read about it, it's true. It's one of the worst things you can possibly have. Not just in terms of the foods you can't eat anymore, and with all the fat people in America now, believe you me, and they already said, we have diabetes among kids now, teenagers.
Right, the type 2.
Type 2 diabetes among teenagers, which ordinarily type 2 diabetes used to start like at 40, and that was it, when you get fat and sedentary and stuff like that. Now teenagers are getting, because everybody in America is fat. Because the doctors don't want to get you healthy, because then they're not going to get your money. And the food manufacturers sure as hell don't want to get you slim, because they want to keep peddling you more crap. So it's all a big scam. And then, of course, that's why we got all these prescription drugs being advertised on the nightly news every night. Almost every ad now is for either a prescription or over-the-counter drug. Yeah, but we got to get those druggies. That's right. That's what Bill Bennett and Rush Limbaugh said. Anyway, so having read Bob's blog and realizing that even though when you know certain things in a generic way, and you've read about, well, it can cause this and cause blindness and all these horrible things, and you think you can keep fooling yourself, and it doesn't really mean that. It doesn't strike home. It requires something, a wake-up call, a real wake-up call. And 2 or 3 different times in my life I had a wake-up call. The first time I was working in Sarasota in 73. I weighed 266 pounds.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Not quite in the beast category, although I'm 5'9", he's 5'4". But I was a huge, fat slob. I told you, I used to take like a box of Hamburger Helper on a weekend, watching a football game on a weekend. I'd get a box of Hamburger Helper, cook up a pound of hamburger, make the Hamburger Helper, and then take, the big cans of Hawaiian Punch, eat the whole box of Hamburger Helper and the pound of the beef that you cook it in, and the whole can of Hawaiian Punch with all that sugar. I mean, I was just a slob pig beast.
Yeah, I know.
So anyway, I started waking up in the morning with these headaches, man, sweats and bad headaches. I went to the doctor and he said, "Oh man, if you don't lose some weight and get that blood pressure down, you're gonna." That was the first time he put me on blood pressure pills.
How old were you?
Well, I was 73, so I would have been like 31.
Okay.
Now, what does this mean? Daryl in Sarasota faxed.
Well, that's from Daryl, so I assume that he's talking about himself.
Yeah.
But faxed.
What, I don't understand.
I don't know. I don't
in other words, he sent a fax to blog?
I guess that's what that means.
Oh, in Sarasota. I'm saying Lakeland. Sorry, Daryl. I said Lakeland. Oh, Daryl in Sarasota. Because was it David Lakeland that sent us the first one on Friday?
No, it's Daryl. Or I don't know.
Well, what difference does it make, okay? Sorry, Daryl. Maybe he knows David, he doesn't like him. Whatever the deal is. Now, what was I just talking about?
You were sweating with headaches and blood pressure.
Right, and the doctor said you're going to die.
So I weighed 266. So that wake-up call, in a year and a half, I lost 96 pounds. How do you like that? That was back when the protein-sparing fast was really big.
Mm-hmm.
And I got down to 170. I was beautiful. Well, I mean, as beautiful as I'm ever going to get. I was okay. In fact, I was right about the time I came flying out of the closet, about a year or two afterward, and I was just having a gay time. And then, of course, then you get careless and sloppy, and you start going out to all of these meals because you think, hey, now I'm slim and trim, and all of a sudden the weight starts coming back. Let's do the break, though. This is kind of like, see, with that 30th anniversary show coming up on March 1st, this is kind of like a prelude to it, right before my vacation.
All right.
Like a mini-series history of the Neil Rogers show, etc.
This is Neil Rogers.
Put the bread down, Beast.
This is 560 QAM.
The John Lennon Files. To this day, the government refuses to release them. Tonight on the History Channel, you'll find out why. Only the History Channel has uncovered never-heard-before tapes of Lennon's rehearsal sessions, recorded under the constant surveillance of the FBI.
All right, now. Not quite sure. Need a bit more warming up. You don't mind? Yes, sir. Thank you. Here's a little ditty for the FBI. Don't leave me bloody alone. Imagine there's no Nixon, no Spiro Agnew too. Imagine there's no Quasars or full-length films of Scooby-Doo. Imagine there's no Hoover. How much would that cost? What? Yes.
Aren't you in enough trouble?
Didn't like that, eh?
This place should be bugged right now.
Don't worry about it.
Good idea.
Here's one for the little buggers. Around the turn of the century, Republicans will get you all to agree. When the sword is launch an attack, you'll get them back by invading Iraq. Like a pack of gullible fools, believe all the news you hear. Sergeant Schultz's country of the down.
Oh, man, we're in trouble. No.
This is a blowout.
Yes, sir. You want to go to jail?
Right. I need to make a bloody hole in the head.
Get on with it.
I'm on a roll, boys. Let's pull the little FBI buggers. Check this out, then. J. Edgar Hoover, she's about to move over in his pretty dress. Yes, sweet gal he likes best for a date like told of Elsa. Puts a wig and nylons on, paints his lips with Revlon, fighting crime and drag. Busting all the bags, not his type of hoe. Mo. There you are.
Oh, man, we're all going to get busted now.
Relax, just having a bit of fun. H.R. Alderman, he's your pal when things get rough. H.R. Alderman wants to see John Dean's wife in the bar.
It's 10:48, so where did I leave off? Somewhere between Friday and today.
You went to the doctor, you were diabetic.
High blood pressure at 70, so when I lost 96
down to 170 pounds and you were beautiful.
When I got to IOD, by that time I was back up to 240. And then what did I do? How did I lose that? Then I had the first stroke. I had the mini strokes, but that was the first one, which was more serious. And I was very lucky that I could still speak after that. And that kind of like, that was a wake-up call. That's what I'm trying to talk about, wake-up calls. And so following that, I got down to about, about 195, thereabouts.
Okay.
I think once upon a time, about 185 was about the lowest I got. I think I was doing Atkins at that point. Wasn't that was about the time when Atkins I made it popular in town.
Okay.
Dr. Bob and I did that appearance at the Sawgrass.
Right.
Remember that? We had 1,000 people there, sold 700 books that day. Hey, Dr. Bob. Oh, that's right. He's not with us. Don't fall down, Dr. Bob, now.
Too late.
See, the one thing is when somebody's already dead, at that point, I hold nothing back. Because you can't offend somebody when they're dead, whether it's my mother or Fat Rich or Bob Atkins. Who cares?
Right.
They're not hearing it. It's when somebody's alive, that's when you don't do it. Unless, of course, they deserve it. You know what I'm saying? We'll get to that. Believe me, I got plenty to say in that category.
Yay.
Yeah, that show is 380 pounds now this week. Do you know that Stale Roger show is 380 pounds this week because that little tub of crap is. See, if I were in that category where everybody, if I worked in a building with 100 people and just about every one of them hated me like poison, despised me, and no matter how much of a hard ass I was, the spirit of something would compel me to look in the mirror if I could handle it and say, what is wrong with me? Why is it that everybody hates me? Am I out of step with like the human race? Which in this case, there's no question. But I mean,
one begets the other.
What do you mean by that?
If you had the ability to do that, you wouldn't be the kind of bastard that you are.
Oh, I see. Well, anyway, so this was a wake-up call to me on Friday, seeing about poor Bob with his diabetic situation and complications. And this is what happens. Blindness and getting your legs amputated and all these other things, and then early horrible death. Not good. So maybe Bob is listening this morning. It's possible online or not, whatever. But the fact is that maybe vicariously through his rough time, he'll save my life, which I thank him for in advance. And I thank the Daryl and who's the other one, and Dave, whoever the people were who are faxing from over there on the West Coast. Because otherwise we wouldn't even know about any of this. And I wouldn't have known about the blog, and I wouldn't have heard about that experience. The blob and the blog. So, let's see, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 8, is that right? No, that's not right. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. 6 days.
Okay.
Now, I realize that's not like a lifetime. It's not like a major accomplishment. We're not going to write a bulletin on the front page of the New York Times on it. 6 days with no crap. And this is like right on the heels. Maybe that half a gallon of ice cream and the little pint of dulce de leche, that was it. You know what I'm saying? That was like my getting it out of my system or getting it into my system. Oh, I got it out all right, believe me. Wow.
Drought.
But that was the end. Remember that song, This Is the End, my friend? That was the end of that. Because you can only fool Mother Nature so long. And for it to be going on the air, and like the guy that called the other day, remember the guy that was talking about how much he loves his ice cream? And well, good luck to you, Pally. I love it too, but the fact of the matter is I'd rather be alive. If you have a death wish, if you're anxious to exit, well, hey, fine. Die with a big smile on your face, you think, but you won't. It'll be agony, and you'll go out in a miserable, horrible way. Just keep picking out. When in doubt, just keep picking. Keep reaching for that pizza, whether it's yours or somebody else's.
All for me.
Yeah, that's it. So yesterday, right toward the ass end of the show, I get this fax from Daryl. Now, this is Daryl in Sarasota, right? Because I don't want to get Daryl upset because we keep saying Dave in Lakeland. Right. Whoever these people are.
Let's just say Daryl in Sarasota.
Yeah, the big D. The big D. Now, do I want to read this now? Do I have time? I guess I got time to read it. Sure. Lassiter posted this on his blog December 14th, which is yesterday. And this was like a day after he initially got very angry. Remember, he had that the shouting message he put on his blog in big black ink. Well, Nelson, how come you're listening and don't you have a life? It's reading my blog. Well, the reason I'm reading it is because I take an interest in it, and because this is somebody I used to work with and somebody I know, and it's tragic.
And reacting incorrectly, because you never said anything about it, like that you were unhappy with it, and that's what he said in that screaming message thing.
That I was unhappy with what? Oh, with his blog?
No,
I just said it was very depressing. Look, let me just say this. I don't retract anything I said about his on-the-air show. A couple of times I was in Tampa when he was on FLA, his show is, to me, and this is only my opinion, was so depressing. It was like suicide-inducing. It's just the combination of his great voice was but it's just the whole approach, which I guess if I had to work with those mugwumps in Tampa that long, maybe I would have done the same thing too. I don't know. But it was just very, very morbid and depressing, I thought. But that's a business thing. It's got nothing to do with personal. And the fact of the matter is that even though we did have the SUN falling out, and you see, in life, we all remember things very selectively according to our own perspective. In other words, whatever suits us, whatever's convenient for us, we remember it through our own eyes and mind, okay, how we viewed it at the time.
Right.
So my perspective on the SUN falling out was that, he kind of like sandbagging all of us, South Florida Jew, fag, or whatever, plus Suds and Rick, who were like either category, but nevertheless, they were along for the ride. That was just my perception. But I don't remember that much about it, and I certainly don't remember this thing he refers to later on about some thing he blurted out, some shot he took. I don't remember any of that. Because it wasn't that big of a deal. And like I said, this is not somebody that I really hated or even talked about that much. Every now and then we'd have one of the talk show groupies from the West Coast. Mm-hmm. Where's Bob Lassiter? And who knows? I'd play one of the drop-ins, some of the stuff like that. But it's certainly not somebody that I have any reason to hate or anything like that. Mm-hmm. See, there he is. Great voice, but a little depressing. And then the blog, like I said, is very depressing, and why not? If anybody's going through that experience, it's just... but it really opened up my eyes and my ears and my everything. So I'm going to do the break, and then I'll read this, because I don't want to, fly through it. And a lot of people out there don't even know what I'm talking about, but that's not what's important. What's important and what I want to talk about today is this is a radio show. It's a radio show, that's all. I'm here to entertain. That's what they pay me to do. Not to, be a rocket scientist. Not to be, the great educator of the public or change the world. They pay me to be an entertainer, and that's what almost all these shows are. They're entertainment. And anybody who can't tell the difference between shtick or tries to take things that I say that are obviously shtick and make them into serious and tell me that I deserve a bullet in my head, well, that person is obviously either a moron or just an agent provocateur. Or both. The kind of people that run around stirring up crap and trying to get everybody fired. The Beast can relate to that. See, now, there you go again. It could have been almost anybody that I could have been talking about, although not really.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is your brain. Any questions?
Do you love the delightful sounds of birds in your backyard, yet live in constant fear of avian flu? Well, now you can enjoy our feathered friends and be safe at the same time with the electric bird bath.
Oh, hey, look, honey. It's a brown-headed cowbird.
It's beautiful and no longer contagious.
The electric bird bath is wired with 50,000 volts of bird flu eradicating power.
Look, honey. It's a white-breasted nuthatch.
Correction, dear. It's a smoldering black-breasted nuthatch.
And if you order the electric bird bath now, we'll include a free box of Polly Want and Exploding Crackers.
Polly Want a cracker.
The electric bird bath. Because dying of avian flu is for the birds.
I'm dying over here.
11 o'clock at 560 WQAM. Okay, here's our award-winning schedule. Mo at 2, Joe Zagacki for Jim Anditch at 4, Nothing's Perfect from Smoky Bones. Jesse Alger at 7 in the Panther Red Wing game.
Agler.
Jesse Alger, Jesse Algiers. Look for the QM van right now, the Algiers Hotel. Remember that? I bet you don't.
No.
Long gone. How about the Castaways, 163rd?
Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah, that was interesting. A lot of people used to go there to get done.
Castaway?
Look for the QM van right now at the Hess Station located at 107th Avenue and 41st Street in Doral. Stop by to drop off a new unwrapped toy for the Big O's
Rock Solid
Holiday Toy Drive to benefit Miami Children's Hospital. That's at 107th and 41st Street in Doral. They'll be there until 2 p.m. Look for the QM van and say, oh, who that? Who in there? Who that? So anyway, getting back to this long, and I don't know, maybe this is a bad idea. I felt the need to vent today, which I don't very seldom do this.
You go, girl.
No, because this is, generally speaking, a fun and games with a few bedtime stories interspersed in between, and some of the stupid-ass calls, which is part of the fun. But I just feel compelled. The spirit of the season, of the generic season, compels me to go into this stuff.
Do it.
Because in this business, like I said before, there is a line. It's not a thin line. Not a thin line at all. There's a very thick, broad line. And that's why Friday, I feel bad about Friday because I stepped way over it. Because it wasn't business, it got personal, and unnecessarily. It was stupid. And there's nothing worse than being stupid. But I know where that line is, and I have for a long time. And some people, of course, who are very thin-skinned and uptight, well, he's picking on the pants in my wig. Well, that's fine. You can talk about my baggy pants and about, Ginger and Fagadorn and Stale Roger. Who cares? The part I find about that so amusing is the comebacks are so lame, so pathetic. But nevertheless, that's what makes it funny. You know what I mean? Kind of like that.
What do you mean?
Weak. But that's a different sort of, as opposed to saying, well, so-and-so is a wife beater or a child molester or a, beats his dog with a stick or something like that. See, there's the big difference.
Yeah. Or they're a lousy tipper.
Oh, man. And like I said, some people don't know where the line is. That's why Mike Disney said Neil knows where to draw the line, and Steve, Mr. Ego, doesn't have any line, which is why he's on some horseball station that we don't even know the call it is of right now, and has to buy his way out of the radio when he could put his whole audience in a telephone booth and have room for the Chinese army left over. And Nick Lawrence and Brian, whatever his name is, Little Brian. Norma's Twinkie, Little Brian. So I just mentioned that in passing because there are some people who pretend that they don't understand. Oh, under the guise of stick. Believe me, anybody who listens to the show for more than 1 hour, they know when I'm being serious and when it's just a funnin', okay? There's a difference between saying, oh, Kara Phillips on CNN, let's take her out, Everybody knows what that is. As opposed to going on the air and saying, well, anybody would say these things on the air and any other market would get a bullet in the head. See, there's a total difference. Even just the tone of voice, I think, should probably betray to the audience exactly what the intentions are. But nevertheless, some people got a sense of humor, some people got certain human qualities, and some people have subhuman qualities, if you catch my drift. You know what I mean, Beast?
I know kind of
exactly what I mean. Okay, so anyway, here's the blog from Bob Lassiter on his thing, the posting on his blog yesterday. Lassiter posted December 14th, 2005. It says, it would have been about 1981, maybe 82, when I first heard Neil Rogers. I was absolutely blown away. I had never heard anything like it. The guy was smart, funny, and compelling. He talked about I always told you I like Bob. He talked about the things that were important to me, and he said them so much better than I could. I was hooked. Rare was the night that I wasn't glued to the radio, hanging on his every word. I was working at WKQS at the time, KISS. I was Bobby Clifford, the afternoon drive country jock. See, I never even knew that. But I dreamed of being a talk show host. It was an impossible dream. Impossible because no matter how hard I tried, no one took me seriously. Skip ahead a couple of years. My life had been turned upside down. Divorced, no longer Bobby Clifford, and through a bizarre set of circumstances, I found myself almost living my dream if working at a pig of a station on weekend night counts. WGBS in Miami was the third of 3 talk stations in the market, and out of desperation, hired me to work in a time slot that nobody listened to. I listened. I remember those positive-negative polls, Bob. But as fate would have it, the man I idolized heard me and thought that maybe, just maybe, I had something to offer. One night after his regular shift, Neil sat in with the overnight guy, Bill Calder, and at some point a caller asked Neil who, among the couple dozen people who did talk shows in Miami, he'd like to have dinner with. I just happened to be listening when he said, Bob Lassiter. I couldn't believe my ears. Not only did he know I existed, but he said that he thought I was worth sitting down with. It was the golden age of talk in Miami. There were a slew of really good people on the air, and here was the best of the best uttering my name. Oh, there's that utter thing again. Is that uterusing my name? I was floored, says Bob. But it got better. Over the coming months, Neil waged an on-air campaign urging his station, WINZ, to hire me, Holy Schmidt. Now, does he really mean Holy Schmidt, or does he think he mean...
Holy cow!
Maybe that. Well, I had to drop it.
I know.
Maybe Randy will be playing that later today. To make a long story short, they eventually did hire me. I eventually got to meet and work with my radio god. I continued to work weekend evenings, but several nights a week I'd go to the station, sit in the control room just watching him work, learning from, studying at the feet of the man I considered to be the master. The day came when I finally got the chance to work full-time, but the job was in Tampa. So I took all that I had learned, in particular the ability to speak from the gut and the monologue, and set off on my own. I became the Neil Rogers of Tampa, became a radio god. I've said it before and do not hesitate in saying it now. I owe my success to Neil. He stuck his neck out for me and allowed me to learn from him. My good fortune in Tampa brought the opportunity to go to Chicago, WLS, but that turned into a 2.5-year nightmare, and this is where things between Neil and I turned dicey. By then, Neil had moved on to WIOD in Miami. Oh, WIOD, I hate that station. Yeah. I don't think I need to write the book. I think what I need to do is, just narrate it on the air.
Right.
You know, I got 2 years left to do it. I think it would take that long. Anyway, he goes on to say the station was owned by Cox Broadcasting, which also owned WSUN in Tampa. Cox decided to simulcast IOD's lineup on SUN. IOD kicked ass in Miami, but the simulcast just wasn't working in Tampa. So Neil suggested that Cox hire me to do mornings at SUN, thinking I could help the rest of the day in Tampa. First and foremost, I ain't no morning man, but I did okay. The problem is that I wasn't able to transfer my audience to the other day parts, in particular the show that followed mine, Neil's time slot. Anyone who's ever listened to Neil knows that a major part of his act is to rag on other shows. It's his trademark. Being a student, I also had adopted the technique. The problem is that no one in Miami ever really gave Neil any schmidt on the air in return. See, can I interject just one thing? I guess Bob didn't know Dickie Farkle, or didn't know that Mr. Ego had done a series of shows where he invited certain guests on the air to rag on me for 2-3 hours at a time. But nevertheless.
I think his point is that anyone who does it, they get lambasted.
Oh.
Or is that
Neil would say the most god-awful things about his colleagues and almost never had anyone retaliate. That is until I came along, Bob says. At first, the sniping was relatively low level, but it slowly intensified. He was pissing me off, and I was getting to him. He had taught me well. It culminated during an on-the-air campaign Neil conducted every year for Miami area homeless shelter. That year he was selling a Best of Neil CD, and sales were lagging behind previous years. While the CD was not being sold in Tampa, and my show wasn't carried in Miami, Neil blamed me for not pushing it on my show. This infuriated me, and it was absurd. He would rag on me during his show, and I returned the favor on mine. It just escalated and escalated till I blurted out something that hurt and embarrassed him, hurt and embarrassed my mentor and idol, which George and I have been confabulating about that.
Ragging our brains.
I have no memory of any of that part of this.
No.
It would serve no purpose to repeat it here. We are probably the only two people who remember. I guess he's the only one, because I don't. But things between us have never been the same. A cheap shot, evidently, and why not? Do I regret it? Would I take it back if I could? Of course I would. It was only shtick, nothing personal, but it caused a rift that lasts to this day. So now I have a new reader here on the blog, the man who I owe my success to, the man who I admired and idolized, the man who I had a very public falling out with. For whatever it's worth, thank you, Neil. I'm truly sorry that things turned out as they did. Is that? I got emotional about it when I read it yesterday.
Right, likewise.
And I'm emotional now, huh?
I wasn't being sarcastic. I think you should call him. That's heartfelt.
Well, how am I going to call him?
Well,
that's your assignment when I'm on vacation next week. You got to find out how I can get in touch with him.
I already started. I spent a good 20 minutes this morning trying to get some contact information. You know how most websites or blogs have contact us or contact info, and I scoured trying to find the contact info.
Does he have that?
No.
I don't think he's got that because he's got a one-way blog. And by the way, I happen to agree with that. Like I told you last week, the last thing that anybody, especially somebody who's in the shape that he is, but anybody even in good shape, the last thing you want is a bunch of crap coming in, which we found on our chat room on neilrogers.com when we first started that. Just the stuff that winds up on here, most of which has nothing to do with the show or any of us, just a bunch of idiots shouting back and forth at each other. We're just wasting your space and time. Just really garbage.
Not that I'm going to stop looking, but in the meantime, if anybody can contact him, email Jorge at neilrogers.com.
Yeah, but the only problem with that is that, see, I thought about that, and I'm not going to start responding because anybody can give you an email address. You know what I'm saying?
That is correct.
I want to make sure that we're talking to the real person.
I'll do the work.
Assuming he would want to, which I can't see why not, because I don't really consider there to be this great rift, or there certainly was never any great hate. It was just there was a falling out, and it was just that we had the feeling that we got tossed under the bus, and in addition to which the whole idea was stupid anyway, putting us on in the air in Tampa. It was idiotic.
Right.
I mean, we did have a lot of people at that first remote, but a bunch of, and then, of course, I'll tell you another thing that really did not help us over there, much more so than anything that he ever did, was when we were there for the week. Were you there that week?
I went there eventually, halfway through the week.
And Randy made a big deal on the air about going to the Dollhouse, which was right across from the hotel we stayed at, which was a strip club.
Right.
And made a big simus about getting her hooked up with a stripper. I mean, oh, God. We already had this Jew fag on the air, one, which they could tolerate that, they could handle that, but then the idea that maybe Randy Rhodes was some bulldog or something like that,
Oh, that could only help.
No, it did not help. It was tremendously negatory, and it helped to create this image that, oh my God, these soft-photo perverts. Not, of course, that they're not all perverted over there in Tampa like they are everywhere else, but it just don't count to them yahoos over there.
I think the biggest problem is that they switched format with no promotion, no warning.
Well, not only that, but they kept repeating the same shows over and over. The tapes of the shows. Oh, I think I was on like 18 times a day for 4 hours.
18 hours
72
a day.
hours.
I think we added it up, and you were on like 12 to 18 hours a day.
Ridiculous. When in doubt, they wore it out. Too much of a good... It's like having 17 banana splits. One is good, but 17's a little over the top.
That's not what B said.
Look, something? You've got the right idea. I've planted the seed there. If he wants to run with it, if he wants to do something good for himself and his bride-to-be in his life, fine. If not, you can only bring a horse's ass to water. You can't make it stink. You know what I'm saying?
So where'd you plant that seed?
Rectum. Well, I just got through saying horse's ass. So anyway, that's where we are with that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I got a lot more to say about it. But it would be that's your assignment for next week. I really would like to...
I plan to try.
Although, to be honest with you, at this point, I really don't know what to say other than what I've said on the air because it's tragic.
I thought about it. If I was not doing well on my last leg, a call from you would cheer me up.
Is that it?
If nothing
hopefully
else.
today might do that a little bit, because I don't really harbor any horrible. There just aren't that many people. So instead of 3, which I said on Friday, and I have no idea why I said that, and certainly would never put him in the same category with the other 2, one of whom everybody knows is the unmentionable one, who's not a radio person, just a radio interferer and agitator, and the other one being, of course, without a shadow of a doubt, the most evil person I have ever encountered in my life. He makes my father seem like a good guy.
Wow.
How do you like that?
That's hard.
You know, my father who said, there's no such thing as love, it's just a word.
Yeah, he might have had a point.
Yeah. Oh, I grew up in quite an environment, I'll tell you that.
You too?
It was like growing up in the North Pole, which explains my warm, cuddly personality.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Today on Dr. Phil.
It's Jessica Simpson and Nick Lachey.
Let's do it. What happened? I like her a lot, but I think she's crazy.
Everybody laughs at me and makes fun of me. And
You are a phenomenal idiot.
Tuna is fish, not chicken.
You know you're smart, right?
I don't know.
I assume you want to hear the truth.
Is it tuna or not?
I just think you are up.
11:17, she sure is, and she did the same to him. It's 1,574, the total on the pool. The last thing most guys want to be called is fag, 390. My bitch, 236. The P word, 189. Isn't that sad we can't even say that?
Very sad.
Coward, 131. A loser, 128. Effeminate, 94. Whip, 53. Fat, 50. Wimp, 49. Liar, 40. A-hole, 34. Can't say that no more either. Dumb, 34. A phony, 29. Ugly, 29. Pretty, 18. What a pretty guy. I don't know. A wannabe, 15. Well, what about gorgeous? You want to add that on there, like gorgeous George? Because Norma likes to use that word. Oh, he was just gorgeous.
What about fabulous?
No, not fabulous. That's gorgeous. Come on, you can do it. You can spell it. It won't be on there that long. But pretty, 18. A wannabe, 15. Boy, do I know a lot of those, especially in this business. Cheap, 14. Crook, 14. Fruitcake, 13. Scrawny, 8, and beautiful, only 6. That surprises me. I thought that when you called a guy beautiful, well, if a woman says you're beautiful, wow, what a compliment that is. If another guy says you're beautiful, you just punch him out when in doubt. Isn't that the way it goes?
Something like that.
Now, what was this story that the Beast was going to tell us about a windy toupee? What was that all about?
Yeah, I forget what day it was, but I was listening I happened to have a radio accident and tuned in for the beginning of the Mad Dog show, yet caught the tail end of the Howard show.
The ass end, yeah.
Yeah, and the last things he was saying as he was saying goodbye were that he found it hysterical that his daughter had called him the day before, and she was in the parking lot of Publix and was giving him the play-by-play as a man was walking through the parking lot, and this man's toupee was blowing off his head. And then kind of Howard just you could tell he thought about it and realized he looked like an idiot, so he said, I should have shaved my head years ago. But it was just coming from his mouth, talking about how someone's bad toupee was blowing off their head. It was.
I think some people, before they start talking about me and my baggy pants and my appearance and everything, maybe they ought to look in the mirror themselves. Okay. Maybe somebody did. Maybe that's why that George Washington powdered wig disappeared, the one that had the comedian look to it, you know. But that's okay. That's fine. I mean, it's like me calling the Beast fat. It's not good style. Although you're a fat slob. And I'm saying it out of love, trying to get you on I don't know.
It's working
so
far. So far, so good.
What does that mean?
Well, we're 2 days in.
You lost an ounce or 2 this week? That's good.
Yeah, about a half.
Well, maybe the weight of this show has decreased in the last couple of days. The weight isn't 385 anymore like it was a couple of days ago. You know what I'm saying? Who weighed more? Oh, man. Well, it's about time you started pulling your weight when you work this show. Let me tell you that right now. And that's a lot to pull. Believe you me. Even Warren Beatty can't believe it. 5, 6, I don't know if I want to take any calls today. I feel like I don't know.
What?
I'm just not really
melancholy?
No, not melancholy at all. Like I'm having some kind of a spiritual experience here because I had an awakening.
Yeah.
And I know you made your efforts, but you already had your fill of trying to save fat people, and I think you reached your quote.
It's exhausting. And depressing when you fail.
And usually useless, you know.
That's just it, because it's like beating your head against a brick wall.
But see, all these other things didn't get it done for me, like other fat people that have, like Fat Rich, having the heart attack at the track and dying right there at the table.
Right.
Didn't, because that was no surprise to me. I mean, that was like a multi-part dying that he went through.
And you know how when people commit suicide, all the people around them, they all blame themselves, thinking, is there something I could have done? Well, that's how the friends of and family of fat people feel. Like we didn't do enough, even though we know that we did everything that we possibly could. Sort of kidnapping you.
Giving him that one cannoli.
Yeah.
If we could have just told him, push that second helping away. Stuff like that. Oh, a lot of calls coming in now. This ought to be really something. We'll see how this goes. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, you turned into Richard Simmons of the radio, saving the fat people.
Yeah.
So, hey, I had an accident about a week or so ago.
Yeah.
I was listening to Mo, and I could have swore I heard him saying that there would be no fight between you and him, insinuating that you would just cry.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm just trying to bust your chops.
No, you're trying to stir it up is what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I want to stir it up because I want to
stir this. Go smoke it. Quit stirring it. Pick out the seeds and go smoke it. See what I mean about the audience? That no matter any of the stuff that I just said, there's the element of the callers who nothing is ever serious to them. If their closest friend had a heart attack in front of them and passed out on the floor, it would be like, he was just such a clown, like that. And those, for the most part, that's about 90% of the people who call radio talk shows. Idiots. WQAM, hello.
Hey, good morning, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I'm a Tampa listener that's lucky enough to be in South Florida today.
You mean unlucky enough?
I just wanted to say I appreciate you reading what you did about Bob. I was aware that he had a bug. I just haven't checked into it lately. I'm sorry to hear he's doing so poorly. But tell you what, I do remember those days of radio, and I'm fortunate enough, like I said, to be able to listen to you over here sometimes, and then was able to listen in Tampa to Bob and, all the other douchebags on the radio. But just want to say I appreciate what you did. It was that right there a few minutes ago was good radio in my book. So
okay.
Have a good one, Neil.
Thanks, Pally. But you see, it wasn't just good radio, or whether it was good or bad. It was just, just me venting. Because maybe once every, blue moon, every zillion years, there are things that you need to get out. You need to say them.
Yeah.
And just like about the creature that we got following the show, when somebody goes on the air, I mean, if I'm the program director, if I'm in management, and somebody goes on the air, no matter, setting aside personalities, setting aside anything else, and somebody goes on the air and says, I urge you not to listen to the show that follows me. See, I never heard of such a thing. I've been in the business only 46 years. So what do I know? I never heard of such a thing. To me, that would be, bye-bye, see ya. Whoever heard of such crap? Or under the guise of shtick, disguise the shtick, this man is saying things on the air that deserve a bullet, like that. Bye-bye. But unfortunately, we got management that continues getting themselves in a pickle that they can't extricate themselves. Maybe they ought to get a hold of Jay Rokeach. He can help them with a pickle problem. Because Beast was telling me the other day that Jay Rokeach, from the Rokeach pickle people, that's his family. Yeah. He said that Jay's got a pickle problem.
So anyway, just to keep you up to date.
I think it had something to do with Mike Rosenthal. Go ahead.
I got an email.
And?
Presumably from Bob. It says Bob.
Yeah.
With an email address and a phone number.
Right.
And I replied back with the hotline number. And that's where we're at.
Wow. How long ago was that?
5 minutes ago, saying, call as soon as you can.
How do you like that? Well, see, like I said, if Bob does call... See, I don't know what to say to him because I feel so bad now.
Hi, how you doing?
Well, I know how he's. Well, I really don't know how he's doing today, but I mean, just from reading the blog, it's obviously not. It's not a pretty picture,
Ask him if he saw, Monsters Ball.
Now, what does that mean?
Whatever. Talk about movies,
You are brutal.
Ask him if he saw Way of the Gun.
Well, stop it if he saw this and saw that. The man is losing his eyesight for crap. What is wrong with you?
How about Network?
I'm leaving. I'm bailing out. I'm going back to bed. Had a rough night at Woodbine, getting most of my money back. Watching all them donkey races. So we'll see if we get... now, what did you give me? You gave me your email address? Now, where did you get the email?
I told you I gave my NeilRogers.com email out on the air, and he fired an email right off to it, assuming that it's him and not somebody pretending to be him.
Right.
And so I replied right back.
And he gave you his phone number.
Yes.
Well, why don't you call him during the break?
We tried to make a call on this hotline over here, and something's wrong with it. We'll work on it during the break.
Oh, man, I can just see it right now. The flames are engulfing WQAM. The whole building is up in flames. We're trying to call out to get the fire department to call 911, and, well, we can't get the phone to work. I mean, we are just a radio station, but then again, Telos is the best. Ask George Corso about that Telos phone system.
Don't get me started. Talk about people I hate.
Yeah.
I hate Telos.
How about the engineers?
No.
Some of them, anyway. By the way, I understand the engineer's been put into quarantine for 10 years because of his mental situation. 26 past 11. And see, there's a difference between that and my saying that so-and-so, fill in the blank. There's a definite line there, okay? And I'll push the line as much as anybody else. But don't cross it, and that's what I did on Friday. And I should know better than that after 100 years of doing this. It was bad. It was bad form. It was stupid. It was not really meant. And it was just like, kind of a knee-jerk reaction in a really stupid way. Why would you want to, crap on somebody when they're down? Why would you want to do that? George.
Huh?
You would because you're just basically a hard ass. You know?
That's right.
I understand that. It's not personal. George is just, that's his thing.
That's right. Just a
He's got
miserable
a lot of problems.
stick.
Mother or wife. 27 past 11 at 560 WQM. Pompano Park Racing and Poker's got the gambling action you'll be looking for. Featuring live harness racing, the great poker card room. Pompano Park is open for racing every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. And best of all, admission and parking are always free at Pompano Park. Come root home a winner from the radio. Come on, Brucey, whip him again, baby. Or enjoy poker in the smoke-free card room with tournaments every day. Hey, Wally, the finish line is over here, baby. We also have harness thoroughbred highlight simulcasting action every day, 7 days a week from tracks all across the nation and even North America, like Woodbine, eh? Post time at Pompano Park is 7:25 p.m. and the card room opens at noon. Come enjoy fine dining in the Top of the Park restaurant on the 6th floor, and every Wednesday is Dollar Night with draft beer, hot dogs, sodas, and much more, just $1 a piece. Pompano Park, easy to get there from the Turnpike or I-95. It's just a block south of Atlantic Boulevard on Powerline Road. For the racing schedule or more information, call 954-972-2000 or on the wicked web, it's pompanopark.com. Don't forget the live racing Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Post time 7:25 at Pompano Park.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Rogers.
God.
It's gay cowboy songs from the Gay Cowboy movie featuring
Homo, homo on the range, where the queers and the cantaloupes play. And mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be gay cowboys. Don't let them wear chaps and lipstick and stuff. Make them play football and kiss girls and such. And, well, we're back here in San Fran again, where the women don't outnumber men.
First I was afraid, I was petrified,
And more,
I kept
including
thinking
a cowboy's best friend is his pony, Spank the Burro, and happy mails to you.
It's fun to stay at the YMCA.
Gay cowboy songs from the Gay Cowboy movie. The soundtrack is great.
11:33 at QAM. Let me just ask one question: positive or negative? Hello.
Positive.
Oh, see, this isn't working. This line 12.
You hit it wrong.
What do you mean I hit it wrong? I was doing that when you were hitting it. Oh no, please don't tell me.
We'll just hit it again.
Okay, let me hit it again. Hello.
Now you're talking.
Yeah, I'm here.
There he is.
I'm here, you old
just
fart.
learning how to.
Miserable man.
I'm learning how to do this phone thing. Boy, you sound like you're in a barrel.
I beg your pardon. You're the one that sounds like you're in a barrel. I sound fine.
Well, maybe I am. I ought to be in a barrel. We're going to get a foot of snow here today.
Really? I thought you
Positive
said
or
so there.
negative? I bet you I'm one of the few people who remember those polls. Do you remember them?
Sure I do. It's the only thing I could do. I got 1 hour. They would book me with guests, and I got 1 hour to myself, and I didn't know what the hell to do with it. I had no listeners, and that was the only thing I could do. And you would sit there the following Monday and give me on the air, because we had never spoken. You would give me tips on how to do polls. And
yeah.
I remember vividly. You told me that I had to always have a juicy question.
Well, the one thing that was great is that I think you were, other than me, you were the only person in the market that would like talk about everybody else on the air and positive. And it was just really shocking that anybody else would go on the air and mention all the other talk people on the different stations. Because you're right, there were like 3 stations doing talk at that time.
There were 19 people that did talk.
Wow.
At that time. Can you believe that?
And some of them actually belonged on the air.
Yeah, there were 2 or 3 decent people.
Yeah.
And you didn't think they were decent, but I did.
Such as? David Gould?
No, oh my God. No, the people that I learned from when I realized I was going to do talk, I sat down and I listened to everybody, and there were 3 people that had something in common. You, Rantel, and Kane.
Yeah.
And, the thing that I learned from the 3 of you was that, and you in particular, but Rantel and Kane also did it from time to time, would go in, and I've said this a million times, cut your stomach open, heave your guts out on the table, and let people pick through them.
Yeah.
And that was
I think that's what I just did this morning.
Exactly. And that was the difference between you guys and the other 16, and that's what I learned from.
I'll tell you, we had some pretty interesting times. I think the SUN thing in the beginning, remember we did, now you were there, weren't you, at the mall when we had the 5,000 people show up?
I remember this closer to maybe 1,500, but I'll take your 5,000.
No, they told me 5,000. And I don't know if George remembers what it was, but there were a lot of people.
I don't remember. There were a lot of people.
Yeah, let's say a couple thousand to make me feel better. But I don't think that... Did you hear about what I mentioned about the Randy thing at the dollhouse? I don't think that helped.
No. Your memory is really bad. I never
Thank you so much. But I'm really old, too, okay?
I never ripped on Rick and Suds. I ripped on Randy because she left my studio in an absolute mess, and it infuriated me. And at that time, she could do no wrong in your eyes, so, that pissed you off. And
she could do no wrong in my eyes,
at
Randy?
That time.
When was that day? What day was that?
At that time, she was the goddess. I mean, she was brand new. And
I can verify this. That is what was going on there, part of it.
Is it really?
Randy was a pig. I don't know if she's gotten over that, but she was a pig and would leave a mess in the studio. She did it at IOD, if you recall.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I really ragged on. You would listen to me coming off from the track, and then on your show, you would critique my preview show, which really pissed me off. I'm sitting there in the morning. I had no calls. I had nobody to talk to. And that would piss me off, and so then I would rag on you.
Well, wait a minute. I would be coming home from the track at 9 o'clock in the morning?
No, at night, and you would listen to the replay.
Oh, I see.
And, just rip me unmercifully.
Well, I didn't want to leave you out, there's no point in crying over spilt milk and rehashing all of that crap. That's, it's all in the past. But it was really much ado about nothing. It wasn't all that significant. Now, the thing that I was astonished by, because it's the first time I ever heard about it, was what you called 2.5 years of living hell at WLS in Chicago. What was that all about?
Oh, it was awful. Literally, my very first day, the very first show, they were waiting for me out in the hall. And every day, it was screaming and hollering and bitching and moaning.
Yeah.
And I asked immediately to get out of the contract, and they said, no, you got 5 years of war here, boy.
Well, what were they upset about? Because they didn't like... well, of course, that Midwestern, everybody's got to be real low-key and real polite, that whole Midwestern thing.
Right. Well, I constantly offended everyone. I offended the Polish people. I offended the Japanese people. I offended the Catholics.
Excellent.
And it was just awful.
So how did it last 2.5 years, though?
How did it last 2.5 years?
Yeah.
They were just mean. I wanted to come back to Tampa, and Tampa was willing to accept me, but they wouldn't let me out of the contract. And so we just, every day.
So after you finally escaped from there, was that when you went to the cornfields in Iowa?
Yeah.
And that's where I don't remember how we got a hold of you, but I got your number. We called you and said SUN needs you badly, which I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing, but at the time I thought it was a great idea.
Well, the mornings at SUN were a disaster, and that's what you heard. The afternoons at SUN were really pretty damn good, but you never heard that.
Yeah.
But they gave me some people to talk to, and we loosened up a lot. And actually, I enjoyed the last 2 years at SUN. That was fun. It was a style of radio I had never done before. You know, I blew out all the monologues, I blew out all the political talk, and just basically did a stream of consciousness
schmooze.
every day. Yeah, and it was fun.
A schmooze fest.
And it worked. You know,
and then, of course, you recall a week that we were there when the bird showed up every day. He was supposed to show up one day because he had been canned from my show long since, but he lived in Lakeland, so he invited himself to come, and I thought that would be a good idea. Let's, because again, there were no real hard feelings on my part. He wasn't appropriate to be on an AM show. He was fine on Zeta, but didn't fit in. Plus, every time I talked about sports or anything he didn't like, he'd throw a tantrum. But he showed up the first day, and because we fed him well and he enjoyed it so much, he showed up 4 straight days.
Well, I remember that week. I thought that was a fun week. I enjoyed it.
It was.
You and I did an hour together, dueling carts.
Dueling carts and eating a lot. I remember the deli. They didn't last very long in Tampa. There were like 4 Jews in Tampa. But I remember that deli that brought in the food. Was that it?
Yeah, Michael Schwartz.
A deli in Tampa. It's like selling halava at the North Pole. It just didn't work out too well.
No, he tried so hard. He initially put out a really great product, but unfortunately, since no one went there, the product declined, and the poor guy ended up selling cars. Actually, I bought a car from him.
Wow.
Still have it too.
So let me ask you this: at the risk, I don't want to get too personal on the air. I will call you off the air, but
ask whatever you want.
I'm just wondering, are you able to get out of the house much? Or are you pretty much?
No, my spirits are very good, but the reality is, I didn't lose the entire foot. I lost 40% of it, but that makes mobility very, very difficult.
Right.
I can see well enough to function in the house. Obviously I can work on my computer, but I cannot drive, and. I look out the window and I can't see across the street. I can only see about 20, 30 feet.
But thank goodness for your wonderful wife, though.
Yeah, she, what I've put her through is incredible. It's been a roller coaster. Fortunately I saved my money, so I don't have any financial problems. And my spirits are very, very good, all things considered. And, I'm able to function. I'm a recluse anyway, so it doesn't really bother me.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you're the one that said that. Well, I'm going to be reading the blog every day. Don't feel bad when you see those hits from Toronto on there, or Amsterdam, wherever I happen to be, because I'll be, and just, and I think vicariously, if there's any little good thing that you may think about in your plight is that you really gave me a wake-up call. Boy, I tell you, I've been on the very narrow path for 6 or 7 days now, and you can only fool Mother Nature so long.
Well, I must tell you, there was something that just absolutely made me laugh out loud last night. As you know, I put up the post saying, how many readers do you think I have in Toronto? Well, I got his second one last night, and you'll never believe his IP address.
Yeah.
Rogers.com.
I don't understand. That's our cable system here, and they also have an internet connection. It's Rogers Cable, and of course, all the stadium that they bought. What used to be the Sky Dome. It's now called the Rogers Center.
Yeah, so I now have 2 readers in Toronto.
There you go. See, you're picking on me, and you got another one out there. And no, I have a few people who do listen on the internet up here, and hopefully I won't run into them. I thought it was pretty nice of them shortly after I came and started doing my shows here that they named the baseball stadium after me. It was kind of nice. The team was not too good, but at least they named it after me.
Well, I'm green with envy. I'd move there if I could.
Yeah, well, you'd love it. I'll guarantee you that. Yeah. Except today, I think you'd love it too much in about 2 hours.
I've always hated Florida. Now I'm trapped here.
Yeah, it's. I'll tell you, if I had to come back and do the show there, I don't. I think I would just head due east and keep sailing.
It's a horrible place. It really is, filled with malcontents and. Well.
Yeah.
What am I telling you?
It's a cross we have to bear. Hey, Bob, listen, I'm so glad you called. Take good care of yourself, and I'll be in touch.
Please do.
And I'll be on that blog every day.
Okay, dude.
So don't rip me too much.
Okay.
Okay, take care.
Be good.
How about that? That was good. A quick job there, George.
Yes, it was.
Did you do it or did I do that?
Well, he responded right away, so therefore,
thank goodness,
we were able to put it together.
I thought
right
he'd
away.
Probably be listening because not that I'm looking for the publicity on his blog. He doesn't need to be writing about me a lot. I'm not. Don't have that much of an.
And I got the phone fixed, and I called, and it was busy, and I thought, now his phone doesn't work.
And
but
you'll be sure and fax me his number so I can get in touch with him.
I'm on it right now.
There, you get on it. Right. 16 till noon at QAM.
This is Neil Rogers. Ahoy! This is 560 QAM. This is 560 GAM.
Travelosophy presents The Roving Gnome, denouncer of travel myths. Our first myth: if you fly for the holidays, you won't be able to afford a summer vacation next year.
Oh, for sure. With Travelosophy, you get a great fare for holiday travel, plus a discount on future air travel.
Myth number 2: trips to San Francisco could be unwise for those who are unfamiliar with the city's many areas that cater to the kinky taste of those of an alternative lifestyle.
Oh, donkey balls. I know this city like the back of my closed hand. I'll be getting off at the next stop, Mr. Trolley Driver. I can't wait to see the Bruce Lee Film Festival.
A guy like you better be careful, you hear?
Oh, it'll be all right. My God, it's foggy around here. I can barely read the signs. Oh, this must be it. Pistol Fury, my favorite.
Oh, thank God. You must be the dwarf they sent from the agency.
I'm not a dwarf. I'm a gnome.
But I don't care if you're a pygmy. Get your ass in there. You're late.
Why are you pushing me? Is this the theater?
Well, I do know they're filming. Hurry. Great, the dwarf is here. All right, deranged proctologist, scene 1, action.
Well, come on, boys. Hold him down. It's time for the examination.
My pants! My underwear! My God!
So visit Travelosophy.com/San Francisco. Even if you travel during the holidays, you can afford a trip out west.
No, you can't afford it. I think I'm engaged to a man.
Where are you, little friend?
Oh, God, not again.
It's 11:50, 10 till noon. The Palmetto was shut down in both directions, and I was just about to give you the story on why and what's going on in some kind of investigation.
And then
the Sun Sentinel screwed my whole computer up. There's something with that website. Haven't I told you that before?
Yes, you did.
Well, what's their story?
Which one?
Now I got to reboot my computer here and boot it and the whole deal. Anyway, here's a fax from Daryl in Sarasota again. It says Neil Rogers and Bob Lassiter at the same time. The greatest day in Southwest Florida radio ever. Thank God. No problem, Daryl. Thank you for sending along that fax from the other day.
Right.
That is great radio.
There you go. It would have been greater radio if the phone line wouldn't have been so bad. That was not a good line. That's why
No, it was rough getting it going.
I'm going to keep Bob on longer, but it was not a great line. It sounded like we were both in some kind of a barrel.
I could hear a hum.
And here's another fax that says, that was huge of you, so to speak. If you save one life, it's great. Hopefully your own. Best wishes to Bob and his family. It's only radio. Have a good day. Yeah, it's only a radio show. It's a radio show. It's not life. It's not real life. And when people have problems, it transcends all of this crap that we do on the air and all the simpletons out there with their calls and their little noises and their, some of you people really belong, I would say a rubber room, but that would be too good for you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, what is wrong with you, man?
Listen. You don't think he loves it when you use his drops?
I'm sure he does,
right.
and I'm so glad that we talked. I feel so much better now. Because people that know me, see, this is another thing, and I've told you this many, many times, but it bears repeating. You watch somebody on television or you listen to them and in fact, radio it's so much more so, because on television you see somebody, facially and you get the body language. Radio, you hear a voice. And even if you know what the person looks like, and believe me, most of us have a face and a body for radio, but you don't know the person.
Right.
It's a radio show. Well, there's one person we do know, but that's another story. Listen.
To mow him is
when
to
do we
love
get
him.
to that?
I beg your pardon?
When do we start on that?
Next couple of hours. Boy, you're just jonesing, aren't you?
Chomping at the bit, boy.
You just want to do
I can't eat bread, so I have to do something.
He's chomping on that bit.
Well, no, the fact of the matter is that the worst stuff that he does is not on the air. I guess he's used to pulling all the shenanigans behind the scenes and making threats and storming around, Mr. Bluster, which is my new name for him. It's a bunch of crap. And only the most weak-kneed and inept management would tolerate the kind of stuff that's gone on in the last 4 years. Listen, I've been doing this a long, long time, maybe too long, but I've never encountered anything like this. This isn't just a case of, two guys who don't get along or see eye to eye. This is a case of just massive interference. See, this is the reason I've got both those two people on my list, the people that I despise and wish evil things. I'd like to have voodoo dolls. Because when people interfere with your life, the one person took 2 to 3 years off of my life, made my life a living hell in my career, and the other person tried to destroy George. Let's see. Should we go through the list? And my career. When I dropped the bomb, and then had the nerve to sit down and admit both things to my face and then try to apologize. You know, so it's like stabbing somebody through the heart and say, "Oh, gee, I'm sorry. Let's do lunch."
My bad.
Yeah, they don't hold any water with me. And if you think I'm going to make up with that beast, blah blah blah, that little piece of crap, you know, I don't know how anybody goes through life being at war with the entire world. How can you survive that way?
I don't know how anybody could call the beast little.
Well, he's 5'4".
I'm short.
That little tub.
Not on your back, you're not.
At any rate. So that was amazing, astonishing. You see, just like Bob says, you never know who's reading your blog and you never know who's listening, too. We got some people listening on the Internet, so I'll tell you that.
That's correct.
Yeah. No, I think he's probably listening on the air. In Boca. He's still driving around in circles looking for where Wolfies used to be. Now, maybe we'll let the Beast do the last 2 hours, because you seem to be all juiced up for a slugfest. I would love to see you and the Momeister slug it out in the hallway.
Oh, man. Sumo wrestling.
You'd probably be punching his kneecaps.
They could be sumo.
I wouldn't let him touch me because I don't know what's on his hands.
Sumo wrestling, huh?
Yeah, Beast is the Sue.
Yeah, a boy named Sue.
I got a diaper.
In fact, instead of like ragging on him all the time, why don't you rip your mother on here? I think that'd be a good idea. George and I have been doing that for years. Why don't you start? Beast was telling me before the show today about his mother.
Was he?
And the force feeding, and about the fact that she weighs about 18 pounds, and about now, what did you say when you were 4 years old? You weighed how much?
I don't know how much I weighed. I was a chubby kid.
And Mama sent him to Weight Watchers when he was 4 years
old. I was
old.
in like groups. I was in like all sorts of help groups for like 4-year-olds.
Mommy has made him neurotic about being fat ever since he was like a little child. So as all you people that have the weight struggle know, the more neurotic you become about it, then the more difficult it is. It's like almost impossible because you become obsessed with it. That's all you really think about.
I'd have to.
Although most people, at least they get on the scale. Now, did you get on the scale a second time, or was that just the one time? Is that
how much are you going to ask of me? I mean, a second time?
Right, he had to heave his carcass
yesterday or this morning.
I'd have to walk upstairs for that. Come on.
Might lose 5 pounds on the way.
You are just brutal. Anyway, I'll look at the Sun Sentinel, see if I got my thing back on here, and see what the deal is. Palmetto is shut down in both directions, and then there's this other thing where there was a crash. Did you see the crash and all the crazy spectators interfered with
Palmetto is open now.
The Palmetto is back open now?
Back open. They exploded a device. They thought it was some sort of device. They exploded it.
I see.
It's open.
Beauty. 11:56 on a very astonishing day at QAM. Don't forget, coming up at 2 o'clock, well...
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
And this portion of the Neil Rogers 12 to 1 hour is brought to you by the letter 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 slices of pizza. All for me.
Coming up tonight, an inside behind the True Hollywood Celebrity Music Biography Profile story. They have an amusing story of how they got their name. And that's about it. They were Hootie and the Blowfish.
We had these two friends.
Yeah.
One we called Hootie, because he looked like an owl. And the other one we called the Blowfish.
Yeah, because he was always puffing out his cheeks, right? Yeah.
Bandmates Darius Rucker and Mark Bryan just told us the complete list of everything interesting about their band. Well, thanks for being here, guys. It's a big, juicy something.
No, man, wait. We did the Saturday morning cartoon show about a sponge named Hootie and his blowfish pal.
Yeah, we brought a clip.
Yeah.
Look out, Blowfish! That school of mackerel is gaining on us! Oh, holy mackerel, Hootie!
You didn't really do a Saturday morning kids show, did you?
Nah, we just made the clip to bring to the interview.
Yeah, we didn't want it to be over so fast.
I see. Well then, is that it?
Oh, wait. No. Did we tell you the story about our friends? Yeah. One called Hootie and the other one called Blowfish.
Yes.
Well, that's all we've got.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
Hootie and the Blowfish. You heard them. They're done. It's a big, juicy, sopping wet look at show business. Tonight, on Inside the Behind.
Excuse me, but I do believe that sucked ass.
I think I'm just going to play that for 2 hours.
All right. Okay.
How's that?
Oh, I like it.
Or I will just put the beast on to rip his buddy for 2 hours. That's a good idea. I can go take a nap.
He's raring to go, man. He couldn't even stop for the break.
Well, you know something? After I got a couple of things here, and then I'm going to let you say whatever you want. And of course, the problem with his, he always promises to deliver something like really outrageous, and he never says anything. Anything. Not on the air.
I have to be poked and prodded.
Well, I'll let George handle that, like the Pillsbury Doughboy. Look for the QM van right now at the Hess station at 107th Avenue and 41st Street in Doral. Stop by to drop off a new unwrapped toy for the Big O's Holiday Toy Drive to benefit Miami Children's Hospital. It is really
rock solid.
107th and 41st Street in Doral. The van is there till 2 o'clock. So bring your toys. Well, not those kind of toys. We know our crowd. Screaming mob traps driver after SUV and child collide in Miami. Police and fire officials say they're furious over an accident that quickly turned ugly when a mob gathered and impeded the rescue of a youngster who collided with an SUV. If this child dies, it's on the head of a lot of these people who are acting in that fashion, one police officer said. Bunch of rubbernecking idiots, man. If there's one thing I hate about rubberneckers, it's that they're still alive. According to officials, the driver of a red Chevy Blazer struck a 6-year-old boy near Northwest 2nd Avenue and 69th Street around 6 o'clock last night. An angry crowd quickly gathered, banging fists on the car and then kicking and banging on a fire truck when it arrived. They also got in the way of rescue workers trying to help the injured boy. The driver, Marie Medjean Andre, 25 of Miami, had stopped the SUV she was driving after the accident, but was trapped inside by the shouting crowd after they started kicking and punching the vehicle. Paramedics waited for the police to arrive, but officers had to call for backup to disperse the crowd, said Miami Police Department spokesman Delrish Moss. I think the biggest thing is that rescue couldn't get to the child. You have people who are pretending to act responsibly, but rather they're acting like a mob of criminals, Moss said. If this child dies, it's on the head of a lot of these people who are acting in that fashion, like lunatics. Police said it appears the child, who hasn't been identified, darted in front of the vehicle. He was transported to Ryder Trauma Center at Jackson Memorial in extremely critical condition, and the investigation continues.
Barbarians.
What is that all about? Why do people act like crazy people?
They're animals. They're barbarians.
I see. Here's the fax from Jerry in Bonita Springs, who's one of our good faxers who actually faxes when he's got something to say as opposed to like that. You know what I'm saying?
What are you saying?
Well, first let's take a look at that poll result, man. Last thing most guys want to be called is Mo. We should have put that on there. Boy, that's, I think, the worst shot you can get.
Be horrible.
1637, fag 408, my bitch 245, the P word 195, coward 138, a loser 132, effeminate 95, whip 55, fat 53, beast, fat, you fat little pig.
Oh, I know.
Wimp 53, liar 42. See, some people now, use it as a shot. I use it because I think that's about the only way you can get through to some people, saying, boy, you are really fat. You're just like a pig. And then some people get frustrated by that, and they go out and get a half a gallon of ice cream, eat more, get fatter. Wimp 53, liar 42, a-hole 34. Oh, to live the day where we could actually say that on the air. I think I was the first person in the USA who started saying that on the air.
First person I heard.
And then Phil started doing it, and everybody and their brother started doing it. The Mr. Ego started doing it. Dumb 34. How about dumb a-hole? Dumb 34, a phony 31. Ugly has got
about 30, man.
Pretty 18. What a pretty boy. Fruitcake 15, cheap 15, a wannabe 15. Boy, this business is loaded with them. Crook 15, scrawny 8, beautiful 6, and gorgeous has got none. The big. So far. I think we got a shot at 1,800 votes on this during the show. Of course, we started, like 5 days ago? I could switch over to tomorrow's poll, but I'll do that in the last hour, okay? I think, now, you like the one I did for tomorrow, right?
Oh, I forgot already. Oh, no, yeah, I remember I liked it a lot, though. I forgot what it was, but I liked it a lot.
ABCD, I don't want to give it away.
Right, no, don't.
Anyway, here's Jerry in Bonita Springs says, Neil, I've been a talk show junkie for many years. See, we always liked Jerry up until we found that out. I don't admit this to just anyone, so please don't tell anybody. Oh, he was just kidding. I've never called a talk show. Oh, now you're starting to redeem yourself big time, Jerry. I guess I'm a long-time listener and no-time caller, to which we say, all right. I don't want to be a pain in the ass. As in, rectum. I've listened to some people in the business that I thought were remarkable. Just for example, Reg Cordick of Cordick & Company at KDKA, 1020 on the AM dial. Those are the days, baby. With the Pirates and Bob Prince at night, and Reg Cordick & Company in the morning. And Bob Collins and Wally Phillips at WGN, Chicago. You and Bob Lassiter are by far the two best in the business. I'm really not sucking up, he says. I first heard you in 1984 when I spent winter in Key Largo. I listened to you every time I came back to visit. Then I moved to Tampa. Oh, poor Jerry. The first time I heard Lassiter, I was hooked. I couldn't believe there was someone this good in Tampa. He was on WFLA then. He became #1 with 10 and 12 shares. This was his peak. At the local pub at happy hour, everybody was discussing what Lassiter had said that afternoon. I wish you could have heard those WFLA shows. After Bob returned from Iowa and went to after he dragged his fat ass out of the cornfields and went to WSUN, I was happy again. Then SUN started simulcasting your Miami show. See, now let me just interject here, Jerry. The reason they did that is because Cox Broadcasting owned that station. They had bought it for whatever reason. It would be like buying a fur coat and not knowing what to do with it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
In Florida, buying a mink coat, but you don't know what to do with it. And the same thing, they bought SUN, and they had no idea what to do with it. So, as a last gasp, we'll slap this crap on for Miami and see if it works over here. It says, now I had died and gone to heaven. Jerry says I had the two best in radio right there on one station. When Bob started doing the morning show, it didn't work. I know he just said he enjoyed it, but it didn't work for me. It was like he was trying to force the comedy. He's not a funny man. He's a deep man with a sense of humor, but not a funny man. I know you can't go home again, but it was great to hear the awesome voice of the past. Thanks, Neil, for putting Lassiter back on the radio, however brief it was. Jerry Bonita Springs. Thank you, Jerry. You're okay in our book, okay? Fax us again some year. No, he's good. Right?
Right.
Maybe we'll take a call or two. I promised I would turn it over to the Beast, though, for a little bit. Now, what is it that you want to say? How would you describe this tremendous rift? How did this come about between you and one of our very favorite nudges?
Where did it come about?
Yeah, you started out, he came on, he was doing the 6 to 9.
Right.
That's when Greg, nice going, by the way, Greg, sticking me on there at 9 o'clock in the morning when other people were listening to all their other morning shows. Nice job, baby. Mess with success. If it ain't broke, try to fix it. You clown, you fool, you silly.
You fail.
Yeah, Greg. Oh, anyway, so you were on there 6 to 9 producing the show, right?
Yes. That's
you
right.
You were booking the guests and What?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was booking the guests. Grieper was running the board. And I had struggled. I'd worked the phones to try to get some guest he wanted. It was like the offensive coordinator for the Steelers, or whoever. Mike Malarkey is now the coach of the Bills.
Sounds like a pile of malarkey to me.
Yeah, I got him on the air. And actually, no guest ever calls in early, but this guy called in early. He's like, hey, I'm free. Can I go on now? It was like 2 minutes early. So
2 minutes.
I said, hey, we'll put you on. So I, go in Howard's headset. Hey, we got Coach. Go to him now. And he goes, I know we got Coach Malarkey in the air, but let's go to Jose in Hialeah. And they had like a 5-minute phone call about nothing. And that's when I realized this guy knows nothing about doing a talk show.
Uh-huh.
And that's when I just sold it in from there. Because I said, how am I working my butt off for a guy that's going to rail me like that?
Yeah. Beast didn't send me a New Year's card.
And what happened after that? It wasn't...
then he started to hate me, and I hated him, and it was great.
And
then he would go into Josh's office and say that I suck, and there was meetings about trying to bring people in.
Well, Josh probably already knew that.
Yeah, well, without a doubt. But, they'd have meetings about what producer they wanted to bring in and replace me and all this stuff.
Now you must know the real story behind the story about Zach, because remember the day that Zach was in there, and I was talking to him from here, and Clarence came in there and just about put his hand over his mouth. It was like he was operating a marionette, like he was pulling the strings and doing the voice, like a puppeteer, making him say only what he wanted. What was the real story there with Zach?
I think Howard felt like Zach, again, like everyone else who ever worked for him, after a certain point in time, you can't do anymore.
Guy's a coconut.
You just mail it in because you realize no matter what you do, it doesn't matter.
Uh-huh.
And Zach, I think, felt the same way. And then Howard, this guy's not working for me. He's lazy, da-da-da-da-da, and,
Maybe he just doesn't like fat people.
He hates everybody.
Maybe Mo's got to think about fat people. Which, quite frankly, he could lose a few pounds in that fat ass, too. So that's it? I thought you were going to go on a...
But I realized why I hate him.
I thought we had a toupee story somewhere.
No, we told the toupee.
Yeah, we did the toupee story.
I realized why I really and truly don't like him.
Yeah.
Because I'm jealous.
Well, jealous of what?
6 figures in a 2-hour time slot.
Yeah. How do you know how much he makes? I don't have any idea how much he makes. And I see, with me, I know this may come as a shock. I have no idea how much Hank makes, how much Mad Dog makes, Mo, and you know what? I don't care. It's none of my business. I'm just not a yenta. I'm not one of those people. Oh, did you know? What do I care? I'm making a pretty decent buy. I have no complaints about the money or my schedule or the vacation days. I got no complaints about that, especially not having to be there. And this is no lie. And this is about the truest thing I could ever tell you. My not having to be there, and I don't mean just in that radio station, although that's a big part of it, not being in South Florida, to go back to what Bob said about Florida sucks, That's got to add years to my life. How do you like that? Eat your heart out, Troy Stratford, who's waiting for my Corvette, which he ain't going to never get, but he's waiting for me to croak. He wants me to will it to him.
Will you?
If I'm going to leave one of my Corvettes to a bald guy, that's the guy I'd leave it to. Of course, it might have something inside, but nevertheless. 12:13 at 560. Speaking of vehicles, the truth is when you dare to compare, you'll see why Ford is the best-selling brand of vehicles in the USA. In South Florida, the only Ford dealer to shop at is Armstrong Ford of Homestead. The holidays are here. Now, maybe your car was damaged during Wilma, or maybe you just want to get a great new ride for the holidays and for a long time to come. Well, now's the time to get on down and see our good friend David Rich, and let David put your ass behind the wheel of a new Armstrong Ford. Right now at Armstrong Ford of Homestead, they got fantastic offers and incentives. Get $1,000 cash back or financing as low as 0% on a Ford 500 or Freestyle. Get $5,000 cash back on Explorer and Expedition. How about $2,000 cash back on Escape and $2,500 cash back on Focus? Certain restrictions apply. When you buy a Ford from Armstrong Ford, you'll get their exclusive Tires and Batteries for Life program on top of all these things. That's right, Tires and Batteries for Life. David Rich and the staff at Armstrong Ford of Homestead guarantee you they'll bet the beast life on it. They give you the best price, and because they're locally owned and operated, they will treat you like a member of their own family because they want to make you a lifelong customer. You won't get a better deal on a Ford, so if you want to go shop around, waste your time and gas, but the smart thing to do is call David Rich at 305-247-5112 and tell David you want the Neil deal. Armstrong Ford of Homestead, they're at 30725 South Dixie Highway, just 20 quick minutes south of the 836. Check them on the wicked web, armstrongcars.com, then drive a few miles extra to save a potload of money, man, at Armstrong Ford of Homestead.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
All the slime all the time. Hawaii at last. Now you can get a little peace and quiet here.
Hiya, Mo.
What are you doing here in Honolulu?
When I heard you were here, I flew right over and dressed up like Connie Stevens, just for you.
Well, you're forcing me to do this. Hey, how about a nice Hawaiian punch?
Sure.
Doi, doi, doi. Doi, doi. Doi, doi, doi. Doi, 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 doi.
$12:19 at QAM. Don't forget the Molmeister himself to give you a few of those that nobody else can do like he does at 2 this afternoon. And then we got Joe Z, but the less said the better. Does 30,000 mean anything to Bush? How many?
About 30, man.
By Matthew Rothschild. I do have a few bedtime stories here, although the Beast did leave one thing out of his little rant there, which was fairly short, like him.
Yeah.
And that is that he wants that gig. He wants 2 to 4.
Without a doubt.
Now, how did it go that day that you filled in? Which I don't even know if he knows about that the one day you filled in for Mo, 2 to 4.
Went okay. It was pretty good
okay?
job, yeah.
Get some decent calls?
Yeah, some pretty good calls.
Did you talk about Ginger and Fagadorn and Henrietta?
No, I didn't bring that up.
Oh, well, maybe it would have gone a little bit better if you would have done that.
Right,
See, I don't really give a crap what anybody says, because I get to pay the same regardless, as long as it's on a reasonable side of that line, that big thick line that anybody with half a brain would understand. But when people are trying to get other people fired, it's like the George thing. And this is what I said at the time when I got that embarrassing call from Greg Reed that day. I mean, it was just unacceptable. Oh, congratulations on a great book, Neil. And by the way, I've decided to terminate George Rodriguez. And I said, what? What? And it was kind of like an afterthought. He didn't decide anything. And I said to him, this is a guy who's got a wife and 2 kids to support, and you're just based on somebody throwing a tantrum. And, of course, they denied that was behind it until a certain person admitted to my face. Let me tell you the reason. That was the day that, did you come in, Beast? And yeah, you're the one.
Probably.
And you said to me, Mo wants me to invite you to come in to wish him a happy birthday. That was you, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was me, yeah.
Wants to invite you to come in and wish him happy birthday. I said, forget about it. And then you said, oh, but he also is going to tell you why George is still here. Well, see, that piqued my curiosity, because that opened up the avenue for an opportunity for him to admit right to my face that all along, in spite of the denials of mid-level flunky management, that he was behind all of that crap. And, of course, that was on the heels of those emails that you sent me, that you faxed me, being the bastard that you are, George.
Right, that everyone had in the building, had copies of it, and we were going all around, right.
Which were most amusing, by the way. But again, if you have thin skin, you don't belong in this business. You can write all the emails about me you want. I couldn't give a crap. Who cares? But if you have thin skin, you don't belong in the business. And so right away we start messing with it. That's where I draw the line. That's where I draw a real big fat line, when people start pulling strings behind the scenes, and anybody who knows me. This goes back to what I said before, because I got interrupted myself. Because you're on the air doesn't mean anybody knows you. It's a radio show. And the people who really know me well, which is a very small number of them, they know that off the air I'm not anything at all like I am on the air. And I'm a pretty decent human being. I take pretty good care of my friends. I do the best I can, and I'm my own business. I'm not running around behind the scenes. In fact, one thing about me, and George can verify this, at IOD, when the little hand hit the big hand at 2 o'clock, I was out that door like a flash.
Yeah.
And the same thing there. I mean, I was gone like, exactly. Like I was kicked in the ass with a bowling ball. With a bazooka. Because one thing I don't believe is hanging around and stirring it up and all the yentas, all the crap. I'm not into it. Who the hell cares? It's like any other business, man. The office gossips, the yentas, and generally speaking, those are the people with the least amount of talent. Those are the people who are insecure and looking to stab everybody else in the back and get this one fired and all this other crap. When you start messing around with people's livelihoods and their careers and their life, at that point, that's when you piss people off. And that's the kind of thing that people on this radio station should stop tolerating right now. It's been going on too damn long. This one's got to be fired, and that one's got to go on another show. Yeah, based on what? Based on the fact you got a temper tantrum today and you woke up on the wrong side of bed? That you're a miserable SOB who can't get along with anybody on the face of the globe? Except maybe your wife, who I feel really sorry for? Good golly, Miss Molly. You know, when the hell is somebody in that place going to take the bullcrap by the horns and, it's pathetic. Just sad. I mean, the line of people, the long line of people have been trampled over by Mr. Bluster. Anyway, like I said, so the Beast wants that show. That's what I started to say. Right. You want to talk about that?
Oh, he's bringing me my food right now.
Well, let's just make sure he brings you all of it, okay? And doesn't, intercede, like Dom DeLuise with that Chinese food and Fatso, remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just bring you the empty bags and the chicken bones.
Huh?
Yeah, now what are you eating today? A sandwich with no bread?
I just have some soup.
Some soup?
Some chicken soup.
Excellent. Very Jewish and good for you, okay? Yeah, I'll give you some real good screaming PM. So I was starting to ask about it. You said to me you wanted that show 2 to 4. You and Curtis.
I wouldn't mind, Curtis and the Beast, 2 to 4.
Yeah, and then you can make enough bucks you can go out and plunge your guts, because by that time probably the slots would be going.
I could hit them in the morning and the afternoon.
I see. Leaving just time in the late evening for a quick encounter with your lovely fiancée, and then back to business again in the morning.
Well, we could just meet at the casino. That's fine.
There you go. I'll tell you one thing, a little tip from me, and it is a good time to go is early in the morning when there's almost nobody there, and you can look for you know what you look for early in the morning?
What's that?
A good...
Machine?
A good machine man. That's it. There were 2 Jamaican girls walked by me last night, and she said something about, oh, that machine, and I almost fell off my chair. I guess I'm the only one who got it there, of course, because I'm sick and proud of it. That's a good machine. On Monday, for the first time, President Bush acknowledged that his Iraq war has taken a large toll on the Iraqi people, but he fobbed it off as if it were nothing. Taking questions after a speech at the Philadelphia World Affairs Council, Bush was asked right out of the chute how many Iraqis have died. Here's the exchange. Question. Since the inception of the Iraqi war, I'd like to know the approximate total of Iraqis who've been killed, and by Iraqis I include civilians, military, police, and surgeons, translators. Bush, how many Iraqi citizens have died in this war? I would say 30,000.
About 30, man.
More or less have died as a result of the initial incursion in the ongoing violence against Iraqis. We've lost about 2,140 of our own troops, over 2,150 now. Bush may have severely underestimated the total number of Iraqi dead. IraqBodyCount.net estimates that a minimum of between 27,383 and 30,892 civilians alone have died as a result of Bush's war, but it recognizes that this civilian count, which it bases on published news reports, is much lower than the actual figure. Our maximum, therefore, refers to reported deaths, which can only be a sample of true deaths unless one assumes that every civilian death has been reported. It's likely that many, if not most civilians who died will go unreported by the media. That's the sad nature of war. Then there's the John Hopkins study from November 2004 in The Lancet that puts the death toll above 100,000 Iraqis. If that figure is correct, Bush is off by at least a factor of 3. While it's a relief, I suppose, to know that Bush understands that his war has killed at least 30,000 Iraqis, does even that figure mean anything to him? He acted as though it was a totally acceptable number. In fact, as David Sirota has noted, Bush in the very next breath made a joke as he interrupted the next questioner to say, "I'll repeat the question. If I don't like it, I'll make it up." The White House transcript reads, "Laughter and applause." That's the definition of obscenity. To segue from the deaths of 30,000 Iraqis and 2,140 U.S. soldiers to a poor attempt at humor is to reveal a frightening callousness. Kind of reminds me of that routine you did for the press luncheon. Remember that?
The WMDs?
Yeah, no WMDs under here. Now, I'm sure that the parents of all those dead soldiers and the other ones that are like hanging on by a thread, I'm sure they really find that most amusing.
Right. They were laughing hardest.
What will it take for Bush to grasp the meaning and the magnitude of 2,140 dead U.S. soldiers and 30,000 dead Iraqis or more? He has said over and over again that he came to liberate the people of Iraq and deliver them the gift of freedom. By the way, they're voting like crazy over there, including a lot of Sunnis. I just mentioned that they extended the voting hours. But he didn't liberate those 30,000 or those 100,000. They didn't get to unwrap their gift, or if they did, it blew up in their faces. Each dead Iraqi has a name. Each dead Iraqi leaves a family that will never be the same again. At what point does the president acknowledge the horrific pain he's inflicted on the people of Iraq? Mentioning a mere number and then blithely moving on doesn't cut it. Such indifference permitted the mass killing in the first place. It shouldn't be blanketed over them again. Matthew Rothschild writes for The Progressive. At any rate, probably another one of those commie pinko, doesn't love America, and he's hurting our troops. Oh, speaking of that,
other important issues of the day is
White House announces plan to rebuild them levees. I'm surprised we got any money left to do that in New Orleans, aren't you? And especially why they want to do that. Too many dark folks living there anyway. They don't vote for Republicans. It's that most... Am I doing it right? Yes, I am. Oh, I get panicky. That most wonderful time of the year, unless you hate this time of the season because of the crowded malls, the long register lines, the parking hassles, the crazed shoppers, man. So make your gift-giving a lot easier for you and your loved ones by giving them a Dial-A-Mattress gift certificate. When you call 1-800-MATTRESS, you can order a Dial-A-Mattress gift certificate, any denomination, and a new bed makes a perfect gift that'll last them for years. Every time they do something really salty on it, they'll think of you. Or sugary. When you call 1-800-MATTRESS or choose from Sealy, Serta, Simmons, King Coral, Stearns & Foster, Hewitt, and Tempur-Pedic. Maybe you suffered some damage from Hurricane Wilma. Maybe you need a bed for those last-minute uninvited pain-in-the-ass holiday guests. Whatever, call 1-800-MATTRESS. You'll get same-day delivery from 8 in the a.m. till 10 p.m. You still get to pick the date and time for delivery to fit your schedule. And Dial-A-Mattress is mighty proud and well ought to be of their record of being on time 99.7% of the time. They're ranked number 1 in the world in customer satisfaction. I've been using them for a very long time, and you ought to do the same if you're smart. Before those guests arrive, just make that one easy call, 1-800-MATTRESS, or log on to mattress.com. Dial-A-Mattress, 1-800-MATTRES. Leave off the last S because it stands for...
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Ow.
Absolutely.
If he came back for Christmas, what would Jesus do? Tell Christians to kiss his ass. If he came back for Christmas, what would Jesus do? Remove their bumper stickers and tell Christians to kiss his ass. If he came back for Christmas, what would Jesus do? Find a pair of pants, remove their bumper stickers and tell Christians to kiss his ass. If he came back for Christmas, what would Jesus do? Slap Bill O'Reilly, find a pair of pants, remove their bumper stickers, and tell Christians to kiss his ass. If he came back for Christmas, what would Jesus do? Close Walmart down. Slap Bill O'Reilly, find a pair of pants, remove their bumper stickers, and tell Christians to kiss his ass.
Rectum. All right. 12:34, 26 till 1. Happy generic holidays to you. Merry Chanukah, Happy Christmas. First Noel,
Summer solstice,
etc. and so on. I beg your pardon?
Winter solstice.
Winter solstice, Ramadan. It's never too late to start celebrating for next year. Happy Purim, Tisha B'Av, etc. Oh, but you're interfering with our plans to celebrate the birth of the Lord. Yeah, right. Your mama. Not many calls on the board, not a single one. You know what? That's okay. It's fine with me. Now, wouldn't you have thought... Of course, I realize that there are a lot of people out there who don't know who Bob is and have no clue what I was talking about before, in addition to which this is way out of our ordinary line of yuck, yuck, yuck. But, you know,
it's all part of the soap opera.
It reminds me when the Stern groupies would call, like, at the end, after some tragedy, like 9/11, and they'd call into CNN pretending to be somebody else. This is the fire chief, and what do you think of the Stern show? You know... See, there are times when you do that, if it's not something like really life and death, and it might be very funny. In fact, they also did it on the day when the Challenger blew up.
Baba Booey.
Yeah. And you're dealing with people who are so sophomoric, such morons, and I don't find any humor in that. None. Zero. It's pathetic. These are people who never grew up. You know what they remind me of? Ken Block.
Oh.
You know, the guy may be like 60 years old by now. He's still calling up once in a while. And we'll never stop.
See, you say never grew up, but I don't know children that would think that was funny.
Well, but I'm just saying. In other words, he reached a certain point of maturity, and I use that word very loosely. And I single him out, even though there's plenty of other to join that. You know, like this is his trademark. How about the gargling guy? How many years is he going to be doing that? Like that, you know.
With his last breath, it'll be...
Really?
Yeah.
In other words, that's a medley of his material?
Have you heard anything else?
Never. Well, although the last time he did like embellish it a little bit, he said a couple of words before that. And I think he was probably encouraged by that Mo promo, you know, where Mo said, I like that guy. Like that.
Maybe he's on the verge of something.
On verge of what? Nervous breakdown?
Yeah.
We can only hope. Who, the caller or Mo?
Either one.
Now, look, I've said all there is needed to be said. There's nothing more, and anybody can deny all they want to deny. The fact of the matter is that there are more shenanigans that are trying to be pulled behind the scenes, and when people start harming other people on a personal level, that's where the crap stops. That's when it stops being radio or just a radio show, and when it starts being unacceptable. And in, like most real businesses, that's when it starts being a fireable offense, you know? But nevertheless, this again is not a real business. It's more like monkey business. It's Greg and his circle of inner core of buttlickers, and that's what QM always has been and always will be. Like you said, and I think you summed it up from the very first day I walked into that place. A sports bar with a microphone. Leave it to Little George to come up with a classic line. Now, it's not a radio station. It's a sports bar with a microphone. And like when Clarence came in before the show this morning, I said, I was trying to explain to him the thing with the faxes we got about Lassiter, you know. He wouldn't know Bob Lassiter from Robert Q. Lewis. I mean, he had no idea who he was. And you want to know why?
Why?
Like I told you this morning, because he's not a talk show person. He's not a radio person. He's a sports groupie. And the Beast knows that. That's your boyfriend, man. What he knows about radio, you can put it in a thimble and have room for the Beast left over.
Not my boyfriend.
Well, it used to be. Till you had that falling out.
I wasn't his roommate.
Oh, who was his roommate? Oh, Stu Gotts, excuse me. Now, let me ask you this, seriously, since Stu Gotts is the general manager across the street, which I find most amusing.
Yeah.
That would be like saying Donald Duck is the head of General Motors. Now, do you confabulate with him at all anymore? I mean, you cross his... Yeah, I thought he was
the only time I came across him was at the Super Bowl in Jacksonville last year.
Right.
And he came up to me and he goes, Beast, if I had the Hurricanes on my station, you'd be working for me.
What does that mean?
He was giving me like ego trip, like he had an ego.
How can somebody with so little talent have an ego? He does. Like I said before, when he was on our station, he does not belong on here even to say goodbye. Goodbye would be a good start. They not belong on the air.
They all have egos over there. They think they're dominating.
How can he have a share and have an ego?
They think they dominate.
They dominate what?
I don't know. That's if you talk to anyone from over there, they believe they're dominating. They believe we don't even exist anymore. They have no story.
They're on a leased radio station, okay? They have nothing. The only show that they can sell any spots on is Little Dog, and he's pissed off because he's got no show anymore because he's all jammed up with spots, which used to be his big bitch when he was on the worst team, those long spot breaks, and now he's over there with like all the spots on the station because who wants to buy the rest of that garbage? And the booster ain't on half the time anyway. Wow. Stu Gotts. See, Hank created like, not Frankenstein, but Igor. Doesn't he remind you of Igor a little bit? WQAM, hello. QAM. Oh, now see, this is doing the same thing I was doing before. Uh-oh.
Hit it again. Careful.
Uh-oh. See, I hit the button, and I think you're going to have to reboot, eh?
Yeah.
Not good. Why is this happening now?
One of those things.
Yeah, I'm hitting 3, doing that little
right,
mushroom.
Yeah, I'll reboot it.
Oh, that's bad. So rebooted. Can't take no calls right now. That's bad. That happened with Bob, too, when you had him on the bat line for a second. So I think you got to reboot it on your end. It's definitely on your end, okay? Beast, take a look on his end, okay? And see what the problem is. It looks like there's shrooms. Maybe they're like Moe's dingleberries.
I've seen those before.
Maybe he left a few laying around. They're like sprouting now, like bean sprouts. The last thing most guys want to be called is... Oh, look at the phones are going nuts, but I press it and see, there's that little... I love looking at that thing, though. It's pretty interesting.
Well, you're actually picking it up, but it's going into the headset.
It's going... Well, I don't have no headset. It's going into your headset?
The headset that the producer would wear to answer the phone.
I see. So, in other words, the Beast could hear it if he had the headset on, but we don't have one that wide. Anybody who never saw the Beast, by the way, his head is wider than most apartment buildings. Anybody ever call you a fat head?
No.
You really are. I mean, you're. I think the only person I can think of with a bigger head besides Joe Rose is, that's it. The three of you, man. Go to the head of the class. 1688. The last thing most guys want to be called is fag 422. My bitch 252. Boy, I sure wish we could play prison bitch. Can't do it. The P word 200. I almost said it. Oh,
careful.
Coward 144. A loser 136. Effeminate 95. Don't call me effeminate. I'm just a little out of the ordinary. Whip 56. Fat 56. That's this station by. That could be a new logo. Fat 56. How do you like it?
We'll get right on it.
Jingle package right now.
Hey, Brian.
Fat 56. Oh, I love it. Wimp 54. Liar 43. A-hole 36. Oh my. Dumb 34. Like your president. A phony 33, ugly 31, pretty 18, fruitcake 17, crook 16, cheap 15, and what we call Tom Brady, Brady. Beautiful.
Okay.
Well, I'm asking the Beast. He's a Patriots fan.
Yeah, what about him?
Never mind. Fruitcake 17, crook 16, cheap 15, a wannabe 15, scrawny 8, beautiful 6, and gorgeous. Only Norma Kent says, oh, my God, is he gorgeous.
This is Neil Rogers.
He was a little swelling when he saw Tom Welling.
560 QAM.
Absolutely.
For Texas with a guitar on my knee. While they died in Louisiana, I raised cash for the GOP. Oh, Katrina, don't put no blame on me, 'cause I come from my vacation for a photo opportunity.
Swing your partner round and round. Now do a little swimming through New Orleans town. Swim to the left, to the right, here we go. Sling a little mud, now do-si-do.
Oh, Katrina, why didn't those people flee? 'Cause it's worse in Louisiana than it is for an Iraqi. Oh!
This year, ring in the holiday season with a voice that rings as clear as a jingle bell. It's a Macy Gray Christmas. Award-winning vocalist Macy Gray sings in a style that's beyond compare and a language that's beyond comprehension. On a Macy Gray Christmas, Macy sings all her Yuletide favorites like Hi There Ain't a Thing, Right Here and this indecipherable classic. A Macy Gray Christmas.
A Macy Gray Christmas is available at your local gas.
Excuse me, but I do believe that's just ass.
12:48, 12 minutes to 1. Boy, we got an award-winning lineup today, or what?
No.
It is incredible. Got that Panther game against the Red Wings tonight at the Mac Arena. Any interest whatsoever?
No. Jesse Agler is very excited.
Jesse Algie is very excited about that because he gets to do the pregame at 7, well, the pre-pregame is 7 to 7:30. Is that why he's excited?
Very excited.
Well, he better do a really good job in there. Denise Potvin will come in and take his slot. Denise, shut the hell up already, okay? Let Dave Strader call the game. He's getting better with the Panthers every game. He's improving, getting excited about the team, now that they actually won a game. And you shut up, Denise. Only speak when you're spoken to, and hopefully nobody will speak to you. God. Ba, 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 ba. Just like Rimmer always said. That's the one thing I'll say that Rimmer was right bang on about, and that was, or spot on about, and that was Denise Potvin, man. Good golly, Miss Molly. Oh, and the phones are working again now, so let's not waste our time, right, with nonsense?
Right.
QAM, hello.
Yes, you do a good crossover with Hank in the morning. How about a good one with the Mo Man in the afternoon and just beat each other's brains out?
No, he already tried that one day. He appeared out of nowhere. A voice came on, and no, that wasn't going to work out. I'm not interested. Why do I want? See, I like Hank. Hank and I are good friends. We've known each other for years, and we worked together many, many times. We like each other a lot, and we have something in common. As opposed to at 2 o'clock, we hate each other like poison. We have nothing at all in common. I mean, absolutely, positively, nothing, zero. And, you know, in his case, there's no common ground, and he doesn't allow any room for common ground. So why do I want to aggravate myself after, like, doing my 4 hours and 5 minutes or whatever it is every day? That's enough. I don't have any gigantic ego that I need defeated by being on here longer than 4 hours. Not to mention certain people in the morning on Sirius Radio, you know what I'm saying? Boy, now that he's on air, what's he going to be on, like 7 hours a day?
About 30, man.
30 hours a day, the Stern Show. And for what they're paying him, he ought to be. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Ron.
WQAM, hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Aggravate myself after, like, doing my...
Turn that radio down, man. I can hear it so loud it's coming through my innards. My colon is twitching. What do you got, Pally?
Yes, it's Neil.
What is it?
Neil.
Yeah. Yeah. Hello?
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 Hola.
Goodbye. WQAM, hello.
Hi, Neil. How you doing?
Pretty good, Pally.
Neil, something about, talk about Sirius Sirius Radio yesterday. A year ago, Sirius had about 200,000 subscribers.
Right, now they got 2 million.
Once Howard Stern signed on, it has become over 2 million, like you mentioned yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now the other thing is, that guy who called about the stock rocketing down. I bought that stock a year ago at 260. That stock has only gone up. Right now, the other day the high was like 750. When he called yesterday,
so you made a lot of money on it then?
Well, I bought 2,000 shares.
Wow. Well, let me ask you this.
Only $50. Anytime, buddy, for you.
Okay.
Hey, and so as far as rocketing down, I mean, come on, it's only gone to, yesterday was at 680.
I
Okay.
got news for you. It's doing better than BBGI.
Oh, it's doing a lot. I bought a share
Doing
once.
better than that Beasley stock, man. It was up to 18. Now it's like $13 and change. And last time I checked, 13 was a real unlucky number.
Oh, definitely. I bought shares of Microsoft, a micro company, one of those .coms, and I bought it at, I think it was like 40 cents at one time. That thing never went past $1.
Yeah.
Okay, so I lost some money there. So as far as Sirius Satellite and all that, it's coming along. Like you said yesterday, they're going to combine, and it's going to be one big satellite thing.
There you go.
For the XM and stuff. But everybody's competing too much. You see the
Well,
Snoop
maybe
Dogg
they'll save a little nook and cranny there for me one of these days. You never know.
Well, enjoy your holidays, my friend.
Thanks, Pally.
Take care.
Let's get rid of that stock. Uh-oh.
Down to 6.7. Don't buy BBGI.
Oh, yeah, that Beasley stock, man. It's just when you work in this company and you see the way they operate and Joyce and the whole thing, corporate legal, it just makes you shake your head and just laugh your ass off. Then you know for sure, when you find out these people are on listed on the stock market and people are actually getting conned into buying stock in this outfit, then you know for sure that the stock market is one big scam. Although some of us already discovered that. 5670560, pound 560 in the Verizon Singular wireless line. WQAM, hello.
Beasley stock, man.
WQAM, hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hi, talk to Neil, please.
Speaking, please.
Neil.
Yeah.
It's time to play Name That Toy. Oh, toy, toy, toy,
That's it? Oh, he was just getting started, I thought.
Do the whole musical.
Oh, that was good. Toy, 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 toy. You gotta do it a little more emphatically, man. Work on your doing, man.
I wonder if I have that.
I wonder if a goy does a doy. Or is that like a Jew thing? WQAM, hello.
Are they going to renew Robert Lugo's contract? Answer for the goalies. Answer goalies.
567-0560, pound 560 on the Verizon Singular wireless lines. You would know Bobby Luongo if he shoved 14 pucks up your butt, but you might enjoy it a lot from the sound of your drift. Was he drifting a little bit?
A little bit.
WQAM, hello.
I'm your favorite caller.
WQAM, hello.
They worship God. They worship money.
Oh, there he goes talking about the Beasleys again. By the way, anybody want to buy any spots? In fact, if you buy a spot for $1, we'll promise never to say anything bad about you on the air for the next 100 years. We'll promise. Swear to God. WQAM, hello. QAM.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I am one of those that remember Bob Lassiter and you and Cousin Rick, Phil back in SUN days.
Uh-huh. Well, let me ask you this. Was Phil on SUN or was he... Wait a minute. Was Phil with us then or was it just Randy and Rick and Suds and me?
It was all four of you at one point for a short time because I had a driving job that took me to Ocala every day, and you know I was able to catch like bits and pieces every show, like that whole lineup, and that was just the greatest time for me. Job. I mean, you get back to back to back. I mean, the shows were great, and I just enjoyed every minute of it. And it's fun to kind of let you know I'm one of those few that do remember Blob, and you know, you and Bob and Phil are just some of the greatest talk radio I've ever listened to. So
absolutely.
Thanks a lot,
Thank you for the good time.
Have a great generic holiday. Okay. 5670560 pound 5. So yeah, those were some fun times. We had a good time. We had some nice meals at Donatello's, man.
Right.
Best regards to my good, close personal friends at Donatello's on Dale Mabry there in Tampa, and also to Bern Laxer, who's dead, over there at Bern Steakhouse. Yeah. Oh, boy. I told you I almost got pneumonia that night. He invited me to dinner there. After, not because I ate there, but I was very sick, and he gave me the tour of the kitchen and the wine cellar, and that great comment he said to me, I never try to repay kindness. I appreciate all the people you've sent over here, a zillion people from South Florida, but I never try to appreciate kindness with a similar favor. In other words, you're going to pay. Nice. Which was okay, but it just seemed kind of odd that he would go out of his way to say that. You know, like, if you think you're getting a freebie here, forget about it, okay?
I never repay kindness with kindness. It's just
right. In other words, he was a real bastard. Now he's dead.
I almost got engaged there.
At Bern Steakhouse?
Yes.
Now, listen, I don't think that's a good place. I've never been in there because when I was going there, that was back during my UM baseball days, which I was great, by the way. But they didn't have that dessert room upstairs. Oh, so in other words, you've been in there.
3, 4, 10, 15
I want
times.
you to say a word. I want you to say 2 words that they said after the Holocaust, okay? You know what they are? Never.
Again.
Excellent.
This is Neil Rogers. All right. This is 560 QAM.
1, 2, 2 hour. Hi, Vay.
Well, I don't even know. 560. I am over here, and I'm not over there. So, Filthy took you to lunch, huh?
Yes, and he made me pay for it.
Why, that's no good, Mother.
Made me want to sacrifice myself on the sacred altar at Bush.
That reminds me of the time I had lunch with him in New York. We were sitting in the Molly Peacock room in the 2nd Avenue Deli.
Here's a nice plate, folks. Thanks.
Yeah. You know that's good eating here? They got a picture of Pat Cooper on the wall. See over there?
Oh, yeah.
Here's a good pickle.
Yeah, you ate them all.
And by the way, son, who's done more for pickles? The classic stork or Sally Fitz?
Are you ready to order your beverages, gentlemen?
I'll have a Coca-Cola.
And you, sir?
You see that there? He calls me sir. Now, that's a man who knows who I am. You'll have a Dr. Brown's Black Raspberry.
With a twist of lime, of course.
Oh, lime? Did I say lime?
Surely you're a man of discerning taste. I highly recommend a twist of lime.
Just bring me to Dr. Brown's plane before I twist your nose.
Very good, sir.
Get a load of that, Doctor. Lime in the Dr. Brown's. Do I look like Goyam?
They got coleslaw on your chin.
So what if I do? I'm leaving anyway.
What are you leaving for?
Well, I'm not sure how to end this bit. You know, choice at all, you know.
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
That's it. 103 at 560 WQAM. Happy Thursday to December 15, man. The big day is coming soon. You know what big day that is?
No, what?
Not Christmas. Vacation.
Oh, yeah.
George will be out all week next week, unless he has to go up to wherever it is, North Carolina.
Well, St. Augustine is where they're in the hospital.
St.
Unless they're out already.
Augustine?
I love St. Augustine. That's not a problem. It's just I
Now,
won't
who
be
was
having
with
any
Molly
fun
on the trip?
My former stepfather, they got divorced.
I see.
But they still
what
hang
were they
out.
doing together? They weren't doing anything.
They still
were
hang out because they're both miserable cusses that no one else can stand.
And they had a little bit of a wreck, and George was hoping like maybe fatal, but that didn't work out.
Hey, one way or another, man.
They were in the hospital in St. Augustine, but they're
not
out
my
now?
luck.
Is that what you said?
Oh, I don't know, but supposedly they're fine, but they're in there because you know how old people, they bruise and all that.
Well, guess what? Greyhound buses run from Jacksonville to Miami every single day, over and over again, every hour in the hour.
They could ride on top.
Nice, clear sailing. No, maybe I was thinking more like tied to the back. Okay, we finished out the first pool, and now we got tomorrow's pool on there, which I'm sure that once they find... I don't know, maybe they won't like this. I think it's a little introspection today, since I've been very introspective myself. George liked the pool.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Well, first, here's the result from the other one, which was okay. The last thing most guys want to be called is Fag 425. How do you like that? Fag!
You fairy!
My bitch 258. The P word 201. P-U... Coward 144. A loser 138. Effeminate 95. Whip 57. Fat 57, beast. Only 57 people don't want to be called fat. They'd rather croak than be called fat.
That is true.
That's so? Whim 54, liar 44, a-hole 36, a phony 34. Boy, there ain't a dumb 34. There's nothing like a phony, dumb a-hole. Ugly 31, pretty 19. Boy, that guy sure is pretty. Sure got a pretty mouth, too. Fruitcake 17, crook 16, cheap, and a wannabe each have 15. Scrawny 8, beautiful 6, and gorgeous solamente uno. That must be Norma voted for gorgeous, don't you think?
Must have been.
Wouldn't surprise me. Okay, here's the new poll for you to work on. It's always good to have a poll to work on. How do you rate yourself as a human being? Now, try to be objective. And maybe they actually are. Because I got you the letters of the alphabet. A, B, C. A, the best. B, pretty good. C, average. D, I got many flaws. E, not a good person. And F, I'm a piece of Schmidt. So far, the first 10 votes, I just stuck the new one on there, just swished it over. We got, how many votes? 22, like I said. How do you rate yourself? Pretty good, B. 10. That was my vote. Pretty good. Not perfect, not, huh?
B. Me too.
B. What about the beast?
Better than that.
B as in beast. Let me say it again. How about the beast?
I didn't catch all of the multiple choices.
A, the best. B, pretty good. C, average. D, I have many flaws. E, not a good person. And F, I'm a piece of Schmidt.
I would say D.
D, many flaws.
Just look at him.
Well, and of course, if it were F in your case, it would be an awfully big one. B, pretty good, has got 10. D, I have many flaws, 5, including the beast. C, average, 5. Well, what's wrong with being average?
Nothing.
F, I'm a piece of Schmidt, too. Oh, this is E, I'm not a good person, none. And A, the best, none. Oh, my God, nobody's got that big of an ego. That's good.
That is good.
I'm surprised. I'm shocked, because I thought most people, they don't come any better than me,
So you
know?
just made a good point there about
What's
the
that?
ego. See, if you have such an ego that you would vote A, then you're actually a B.
So, in other words, you're really going to be a B, eh? Or maybe you have a BA and being a jackass. I don't know. Sunni turnout heavy in Iraqi election. All right.
Oh!
Iraqis voted in a historic parliamentary election today with strong turnout reported in Sunni Arab areas. Several explosions rocked Baghdad throughout the day, but the level of violence was low. It was an accident, but not too many people got hurt. The heavy participation by the Sunnis, who had shunned balloting last January, bolstered U.S. hopes of calming the insurgency enough to begin withdrawing troops next year before that American election. That's what they're really worried about. Oh, boy. Because of the large turnout, the Iraqi Election Commission extended voting for an hour till 6 p.m. That's 10 a.m. Eastern Time, long since passed. As long lines were reported in some precincts. The commission said results will be announced within 2 weeks. Just long enough for them to phony him up. They got to get Catherine Harris over there. By the way, did you hear about her plane?
No, what about it?
Policemen guarding a polling place in eastern Baghdad's Zayuna neighborhood fired shots into there to celebrate the end of voting there. But I'm saying, when the polls opened, a mortar shell exploded near the heavily fortified green zone. A civilian was killed, as a matter of fact, at a voting site near Fallujah. But violence was minimal overall and did not appear to discourage Iraqis as they stuck their purple ink-stained index fingers up in the air. I noticed on the Fudge Report there's a lady on there. She's got her middle finger up there for Matt. She's saying, "You ferret." Yeah. She's on to you, Miss Fudge. Oh, brother, talk about a sellout. Pathetic. I might have to add that one to my list. Not quite as intensely as the other two.
Oh, yeah?
You don't think so?
Well, you tell me.
Like if that self-hating queen got run over by a freight train, you'd be upset about it?
No, I wouldn't be upset.
I think we'd have like a little party. Oh, speaking of parties, oh, wait, that's right, forget about it. 49 votes on the poll. Yes, I am. I don't really give a crap. I'm so sick and tired of all those uptight people in that place. Like I said, what they know about talk radio at QAM, you could shove in a thimble and have room for the beast ass left over there, and 14 hollow-out pieces.
I think that might have to be a thumble, though.
How do you rate yourself as a human being? B, pretty good, 25. That's not a bad vote. D, many flaws, 9. C, average, 9. F, I'm a piece of Schmidt, 4. A, the best, 2. And E, not a good person, none. So we got two people are the best. Oh, God, I can't wait to meet them. WQAM, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good.
God, I don't think I've been able to get through to you for 8 years, maybe.
Well, here's your lucky day, man. This must be it.
It is. It's my lucky day. Thanks. I want to thank you for the inspiration to send me on my way on the trips I've made to Eastern Europe. I know you never went that far. I know you said
next year I'm going to Budapest and Prague. You been there?
No, I've been going farther than that, and I'm going to leave my specific location a mystery, but just to be able to say that every single chance I get, I'm over there and just loving it.
Well, let me ask you this question. Why would you want to leave your destination a mystery? Is there somebody tapping the call, or?
No. But the best part about it is there's no Americans there.
Oh, no question about that.
And I'd like to keep it that way because that's the best part about it.
Exactly.
So I just want to thank you for the inspiration to get me the hell out of this country and send me on my way over there.
When I'm in across the pond the next week, I'll be sure and say hi to all your Eastern European friends for you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, good luck.
Peace.
Great. How do you like that? See, you guys got to get El Pasaporto, and the Beast's got a rich family there. They'll handle the tickets. You can stay in Al's old apartment in Amsterdam.
Right.
Oh, use the apartment. Poor Al, you know. I see, now there's a guy, I don't really want to talk to him because I don't know what I would say to him. You know what I mean? Now, Lassiter, I will call. Maybe when I'm on vacation, I'll get in touch with Bob. But Al, I mean, he's been through hell, and, you know, he's a good guy. He's got a good heart. He's just so over the top. He's like his own worst enemy, you know. He can't control himself. But he's got a good heart, big fat one, I'm sure. But I wonder what he looks like now. Can you imagine? Because he's lost so much weight in that Rikers Island. You know, when you go to prison for an extended time like Al did, and when they're tearing your kishkis out, and when you have no money, boy, they just, you know, take a look at the history. Lenny Bruce, Larry Flint, Al Goldstein. It's just one after the other after another. They just go after him relentlessly. They just tear him to pieces and even shoot him if they have to. Tear him to shreds. Because we have to bring decency back to America. We have to go turn the clock back and go back into the dark ages, man. All you people watching those damn pornographic shows on the cable, we'll take care of that pretty soon, too. And that satellite radio, you think that they're going to get away with saying a bunch of crap on here? You just wait. After Stern utters the first F word on it, then we'll have Sam Brownback will be on the bandwagon. They'll be thumping the old bandwagon or whatever they're thumping. You'll see. Well, we got to do something about this. Children might be listening. Children, you know. Of course, all the children are getting killed with guns running around. And well, we don't care about that. Don't mess with our guns. Don't F with our guns. But words, man, the word police are pretty pissed off. That's why we can't say nothing no more. Plus, we got Joyce, who's an idiot. WQAM, hello.
Neil?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please bring back the lightning round?
Oh, it's not a ma'am. It's a simpleton.
Neil?
Yeah?
Please bring back the lightning round.
No, I don't think we do the lightning round every day, in case you haven't noticed.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. That was just Stu Gott's doing the voice. They were like they had a pliers out squeezing his nuts. That was definitely Stu Gott's. Couldn't you tell, Beast?
No, it didn't sound as never mind.
As gravelly, as grotesque. He's got a really grotesque voice. You know what I mean? Unpleasant, gravelly. Kind of like that bit. Oh, you got it on that cart there. Don't look for it. It's not. Do I have it? What is that called? What is it with a question mark on it? How can I have a bit in the DCS that starts with a question mark? Get all gravelly here, yep. 5670 and that KXRK thing. Now, don't look for those. I don't want to hear them because, believe me, they're not that great. 113 at 5. Speaking of not that great, don't forget Mo coming up. You sure want to miss that at 2. I urge everybody to listen to the show that follows me, because the show that precedes him is what his problem is in life, no matter which one it is. Oh, boy. It's just, I just worn out. I have no words to describe it anymore. When you're shopping for shoes, comfort, fit, and value, those are the 3 ingredients that ought to pop into your mind, just like that. So do the smart thing and do your shoe shopping at a great place, Brandy's Shoes in Pompano Beach. Brandy's carries a humongous selection of all the top brands like Rockport, Florsheim, Echo, Mephisto, New Balance, SAS, and lots more. And Brandy's professional shoe fitters will make sure you've got a perfect, customized fit of your favorite comfort shoe every time. Just ask for Arnie. He'll make sure you get the right fit and at the right price as well. The pros at Brandy's even specialize in wide widths for people like the Beast who've got big, fat feet, a fat head, a fat pupik, and fat feet. Brandy's is worth the trip from just about anywhere. At least there's consistency there. Brandy's is worth the trip from just about anywhere in town. For comfort, style, fit, value, and selection, always think Brandy Shoes. And you'll find Brandy's in the same great location they've been doing for years and years, 1290 North Federal Highway in Pompano Beach. Brandy's is open daily till 9, Sundays till 5, and this week a stupendous time for extra savings at Brandy's. Take 20% off on selected men's and women's styles. Choose from SAS, Naturalizer, Florsheim, Sperry, and Rockport. So be sure to get your ass into Brandy's this week, or do your shoe shopping sitting right there on your fat ass on their website at brandyshoes.com.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
.21 at QM, you know, those Iraqis, two things. Number one, they really are incredibly ugly. And number two, you notice how they're all holding up those purple fingers? And a couple other guys I saw smelling those fingers.
Yeah, well, I wonder what they smell like.
Careful now.
I'm careful.
Oh, speaking of that,
rectum.
Here's an email. I'll tell you, this day has been, I don't even know how to describe it.
It's one hell of a day.
An email from Norma Kent.
Oh.
This will crack you up. And I guess it's true. It says, I was able to deal with the fact that the State Revenue Agency sent me a tax return to Norma Kent Enterprises, but I recently made a donation to the Broward General Hospital Cancer Foundation, where they put your name on one of those fancy brass trees. So I called them up and asked why my plaque read Norma Kent on it instead of Norm, and the lady there said, well, aren't you Listen. And the lady there said, well, aren't you the Norma Neil Rogers refers to on the radio all the time? Norma says, okay then, eh? How do you like that? The power of
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. That is choice. That's a beautiful thing. Well, you know, when you see Norma, you know it. You know what I'm saying? When you see a Norma. I have a cousin named Norma, but it's like a she. But nevertheless, so is a Norma. Patriot Act's fate remains uncertain. Roving wiretaps and the ability to peek into private medical records are among the provisions of the Anti-Terror Patriot Act that will remain intact if the Senate follows the House lead on the bill. By a 251 to 174 vote yesterday, the U.S. House agreed to review 16 of the Act's provisions that were set to expire at the year's end. The bill now heads back to the Senate, where a fiercer battle is expected. The Patriot Act is essential to fighting the war on terror and preventing our enemies from striking America again, President Bush said in a statement praising the House vote. In the war on terror, we can't afford to be without this law for a single moment. Among the provisions the House proposes to extend is one allowing the FBI with a court order to place wiretaps on every phone a suspect uses, a procedure called a roving wiretap, and another permitting the agency to obtain personal records, including medical documents and library activity. Watch what books you start checking out. With Senate approval, these investigative tools will be available for the FBI for another 4 years. The majority of the Act, however, has no expiration date. They're going to come knocking on your door. Oh, guess whose column I got here? You'll never guess. I'll give you 4,000 guesses.
Oh, what's his name from Capitol? Doug Thompson.
Excellent guess. The rant. The White House's bitter debate over admitting a mistake. See, now I got to catch up on lost time because I got a few. Not like just enough. Just enough to kill some, to pass along some fantastic information. Don't forget, by the way, look for that QAM van right now at the Hess Station at 107th Avenue and 41st Street in Doral. Stop by to drop off new unwrapped toys for the Big O's Holiday Toy Drive.
Rock solid.
To benefit Miami Children's Hospital. That's 107th Ave and 41st Street in Doral. They'll be there until 2 in the p.m. Doug Thompson says the White House's bitter debate over admitting a mistake. Thank God we got people at QAM who admit their mistakes in management, you know? The debate that erupted in the Oval Office after Presidential Chief of Staff suggested President Bush publicly admit that he led the country to war on the basis of false intelligence information rocked senior White House aides. How do you like that? Rocked the White House. The anger that spilled from political guru Karl Rove's lips was, according to those present at the meeting, the most vocal disagreement anyone had ever seen from the trusted advisor in front of the president. Discussions with those privy to the many meetings on determining the president's strategy show most senior aides lining up against Rove, who's a roving maniac. This is a stupid effing idea, Rove said, his voice shaking. This is a stupid effing... Yeah. This president doesn't admit mistakes. The leader doesn't acknowledge error. But Card, bolstered by the president's willingness to try a new approach in speeches on Iraq policy, admitting some mistakes while vowing to complete the mission in Iraq, pushed for the big one, a public presidential admission that the intelligence information used to sell the war to Congress and the American peoples was wrong in the claims that Iraq possessed weapons of mass destruction. That's quite a revelation, isn't it? Posed an immediate threat to the U.S., or that proof existed of a link between Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden. I thought we already knew all those things. All of these things. Armed with polls that show the president rebounding in public approval after his first speeches, Card pushed for the big one, a presidential admission that the primary reasons given for the Iraq war was wrong, with Bush still insisting the war was justified. It was, Card admitted, a risky strategy. The press and public could zero in on the false intelligence and the president's many claims that the intel was correct and miss the overall point of the speech, but the chief of staff argued that the risk was worth taking. The intelligence was flawed, Card said. Everyone in the nation knows that. It's time we admitted the truth. Rove wasn't convinced. The White House, could he claim, continued to claim that it had more access to intelligence than the public and could claim that information supported the earlier reports. That won't fly, Card said. The truth is out on this. As long as we continue to deny the truth, the president's credibility is at stake. Bush wavered but came down on Card's side when Karen Hughes, the presidential confidant that Bush trusts even more than Rove, sided with the chief of staff. Bush's speech delivered yesterday went through more than a dozen drafts before settling on the language the president would use. It is true that much of the intelligence turned out to be wrong, Bush said in the final draft. As president, I'm responsible for the decision to go into Iraq, but in typical Bush style, the president remained committed to the war. Saddam was a threat, and the American people in the world is better off because he's no longer in power, he'd be saying. The debate over admitting the use of false intelligence marked the second straight defeat for Rove in determining the president's course that he's trying to resell his Iraq war to a skeptical American public. He argued against the current strategy used by Bush to admit some setbacks, saying a real leader doesn't act that way. Some White House aides say the president's willingness to ignore the advice of his most trusted aide signals Bush's wariness with Rove's scorched earth political strategies. The president realizes that listening to Carl got him into the fix in the first place, and that he's in now, said one senior GOP consultant who, like all who comment on Bush for publication, insisted on anonymity for fear of angering their president. He's listening to others now and taking their advice. That's why you're seeing a new approach. In addition to which, there just might be another indictment coming down on that whole plane game. You know what?
That's right.
Well, that would be a good bit for Boca Brian, no? We got that name game, right?
It's cute, right?
The plane game. I likes it. 27 past 1 as we inch closer and closer toward that magical moment at 2.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Using the power of money and fast deals to take the votes away from those Christ-killing Jews, it's the Hate Squad! Yes, the Hate Squad is coming to your house this Christmas. Jew-hating Republican action figures that teach you how to participate in good Christian Republican partisan rhetoric. Hating those Christ-killing Jews, even if it was the Romans. But they weren't Jewish. We're following the Christian soldiers like Rush Limbaugh.
To the left, to the left, to the left, to the left, to the left.
Papa Bush.
1,000 points alive.
With Junior in tow. And Space Tactics Dick Cheney.
Latex power pills sold separately.
Each action figure comes with its own 12-page propaganda booklet explaining how the Jews were bred from rats. Send your proof of purchase for a free swastika armband and an additional Alan Key self-hating Uncle Tom. But hurry, these action figure sets are available for a short time only at Should Stop and Aura.
How's Alan Key's lesbian daughter doing?
I bet she's doing well.
She's still ripping him an ass. I like it. You go, Dikey, wherever you are. U.S. tells Cuban team, you're out. Too bad Miguel's not there today. He would just be squeezing his kneecap, so excited about this. A Cuba story. It was Cubans. I wonder if Emmy Schaefer is still alive. We got to check that. I know Tom Schaefer sleeps with the fishes, but I wonder if old Emmy Schaefer is still alive.
It was Cubans. Cubans.
She was a real piece of work. Cuba's hopes of playing in the World Baseball Classic next spring have been dashed. The U.S. Department of Treasury denied Major League Baseball the license required for the team to participate. The move came after Cuban-American members of Congress urged the Treasury to veto the license application and asked Major League Baseball to drop the Cuban team from the tournament, or as Ron Fraser would say, the tournament. Is that what he says, Beast?
Yeah, I haven't heard of him.
You don't even know who. You wouldn't know Ron Fraser.
Yes, I do. I know the coach.
You wouldn't know old Ron Fraser.
The Wizard of College Baseball, my friend.
Yeah. Actually, he never really did any coaching. Skip Bertman did the coaching, and he was just a PR guy. Plus, he was busy doing other things.
Like?
Look, just calm down. We are very disappointed with the government's decision to deny the participation of a team from Cuba. Major League Baseball and the Players Association said in a statement yesterday, we will continue to work with appropriate channels in an attempt to address the government's concerns and will not announce a replacement unless and until that effort fails. The first World Baseball Classic will be an 18-day tournament in March featuring 16 teams of mostly professional players from North and Latin America, Asia, Europe, Australia, and Africa. The games will be played in Tokyo, Puerto Rico, Florida, Arizona, and California, according to its managers. Well, I guess there won't be any Marlins in that because it says mostly professional players. But since the participating teams will reap some financial benefit from the tournament, the Cuban team needs a license from Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control, which enforces the U.S. embargo against Cuba. I think the Beast would have enjoyed my conversation with Ron Fraser in the hotel in Omaha one year during the College World Series when I said to him in the lobby, I said, Ron, we may not be the best team here in Omaha, but we're the only team that's got 2 drug dealers. Treasure... What? See, I wasn't supposed to know these things, and it was not that I'm nosy, but you couldn't help but to know. The word was around. Oh, and speaking of that spot we got about the pickles, or that bit, whatever it is, they left J. Rokeach out of that. You better do something about it. You better straighten that out. Now, who's it that's approaching him to hire him, J. Rokeach? He's got offers all... Oh, the other station?
To do some work.
Please. Well, that would be great.
Welcome to Marklight Stadium.
Welcome to Marklight Stadium. And here are your Miami Hurricanes. When he's 87, he'll still be sitting up there in that booth with Mike Rosenthal, with Rosie. Hey, what do you think, Rosie? How the Canes this year. Treasury's decision came as the Bush administration has been tightening U.S. trade and travel sanctions on Havana over the past year, and a declared bid to deny resources to the government there and prepare the way for political changes once Cuban Fidel Castro is no longer in power. In other words, once he croaks already, for crying out loud. It's unknown how much money the Cuban baseball team might have earned by playing in the Classic. Tournament profits will be largely determined by how much its organizers can get for broadcast rights. Oh, let's get those games on.
Oh.
Come on, Clarence, let's start working on it. Congressional members across the political spectrum waded into the issue. New York Democratic Representative Jose Serrano, who enjoys friendly relations with the Castro government, had urged that the Cubans be allowed to play. They want to play. Let's keep politics out of this, he said in a statement. But Miami Republican Representative Lincoln Diaz Balart, rhymes with bad egg fart, called the U.S. decision appropriate and correct. He had previously urged Major League Baseball to allow Cuban defectors already playing in professional teams to form a Cuba team for the event. Defectors. Not like real Cubans, no mo. In a letter he sent to Baseball Commissioner Bud Selig last week, he likened inviting Cuba's team to asking apartheid-era South Africa to join a tournament. Well, they sure are like, talk about silly panderers, you know what? It's just ridiculous. So if you want to go to Cuba, just fly up here and fly right out. No problem. 80 zillion flights leaving every day. By the way, it's getting really murky and cloudy. I just looked on the radar, and that big snowstorm is just almost here. Probably arrive right at 2 o'clock when I want to go out and get some last-minute crap.
Good timing.
Yeah. Not good. Well, what do you mean by that? I'm not talking about food. I'm talking about stuff, travel crap, you know?
Right, I'm being sarcastic.
I mean, you're used to packing for those long-distance trips.
Yeah, or just packing.
163 votes on our poll. How do you rate yourself as a human being? You know, we also ought to do one. How do you think other people rate you? But I guess it would be the same, right? Or not?
Too close.
Yeah, but you see where I'm going with that?
No, I know.
Right off the deep ends. How do you rate yourself as a human being? 163 votes. B, pretty good, 83. That seems to be the gender. Nothing wrong with that. That's me, that's George, and the B said G, which is one step below F. C, average 31. D, I have many flaws, 26. Boy, we're sure proud of you, but the butch up. A, the best, 13. How do you like that? 13 people out there better than we are. Man, we better start working on it. F, I'm a piece of Schmidt, 12. Those must be the callers. And E, I'm not a good person, none. So in other words, either you're pretty good, you're okay, or but not a good person. See, I'm saying E has got none. Don't you find that a little bizarre?
It is bizarre.
It's strange. Like I said, like most of our callers, it's strange. Although there aren't any on there right now. What happened to line 10? We don't have a line 10.
Right.
Did I just notice that for the first time, line 10 and 11?
If that's the first time you've noticed it, then yeah.
But I got a button for line 10, it doesn't do anything, and I got a button for line 11 that also doesn't do anything.
Well, then push it harder.
Okay, I'm pushing it. WQAM, hello.
Yeah, could.
What is it?
Could I speak?
Go ahead. Speak up.
I want to talk with you, bro.
Yeah.
How about some Red Wing tickets for tonight, man? Come on.
Raspberry. They got plenty available at the box office, okay? They'll give you like for about 30 cents.
About 30, man.
Yeah, have no fear. How about some Red Wing? What a cheap bastard, huh? That's just, that line 10 thing, though, there used to be a black thing there. I think when you rebooted it, the little black square disappeared. That's why it looks so different.
Okay.
Do you see that on your unit?
It looks the same as it always has.
What? There's no square there?
No.
Or you do have a square. Is it a Hollywood square?
No, it's a Triscuit.
No, seriously, is it a blank gray spot, or is it like
a blank rectangular box there where a dot would be, but it ain't?
No, see, I don't got that no more. Wow, that's why it looks so different to me. You're like making fun, like, the old man's losing.
No, it doesn't look any different.
Well, it looks different here, man. It looks really bizarre. Line 9 works, though. QAM, hello. And back at you. That was Rick Riley responding to your vicious attack on him earlier, especially at the holidays. Uncalled for.
Which holiday?
Unacceptable. Whatever one he's celebrating. Oh, that's right. He found Jesus on the front lawn when he was running around his underwears with his cheerleading wife.
This is Neil Rogers.
Happy holidays, Suds.
This is 560
and Rick,
QAM.
All right, sports fans.
Now, from Washington, the McLaughlin Group. featuring Eleanor Cliff, Jack Germond, and sitting in for Pat Buchanan, New York giant Tiki Barber. Now, here's John McLaughlin. Issue 1, George W. Rings or vault? Eleanor Cliff.
Well, John, I'd have to say.
Wrong! Jack Germond.
Well, that's not an easy choice.
Wrong! Tiki Barber.
I'm going to have to say the vault.
Wrong! Actual answer, floor exercise.
That wasn't even a choice.
Next issue, Al Gore. Favorite Broadway show. Bring in the noise, bring in the funk, or Cats. Eleanor G, I think you're swallowing off.
Well, John, I'd have to say.
Wrong! Jackie, Big Germond.
Well, that's a very difficult choice.
Wrong! Tiki Barber.
I'm going to have to say Rent.
Not a choice, Riki Tiki Barber.
You gave an answer last time that wasn't a choice.
Wrong! Correct response, Cats. He loves them. Next issue, the cast of Big Brother should be murdered. How? Eleanor.
Guillotine.
Wrong, Jack Germond.
Dynamite.
Wrong, Tiki Barber.
I don't think they should be killed.
Wrong. Actual answer, poison pudding. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 146 at QM. There's another old nugget. One of those chestnuts that David Hosley used to talk about. I bet you Lassiter remember David Hosley from INZ. Well, and also Mark, what was his name? The nervous guy? Mark Kuhn. Kuhn.
Okay.
You remember Mark Kuhn because he was at our meeting that time. Remember that the meeting in the hotel, the Paxson crowd? Wasn't Walter Sabo there that night?
Oh, that meeting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember him, though. I remember the name, but...
Oh, he's scrawny, kind of very nervous. Like, what am I doing here? Very nervous. Oh, and I got a kid, and he doesn't want to hear you ripping me on the ear. Kind of like Tim Williams, man. I wonder if Tim Williams is still in the business, although I don't think he ever really was. Probably his mommy don't own any radio stations anymore. So Timmy Williams ain't in the business. He got also very upset when I went to IOD and told what a jackass he was on here. I've got kids, man, and everybody listens to Neil Rogers. And you're... Well, I think your kids probably already know you're a jerk. Oh, the Beast will like this story.
Okay.
Anyone visiting Biloxi in the days after Hurricane Katrina might reasonably have concluded it would be a long while before slot machines were again ringing their incessant chimes. The storm destroyed 9 of 10 floating casinos in Biloxi, and the 10 suffered significant damage. Yet so well financed is the gambling industry and so profitable the facilities that line the beaches there that one casino was set to open its doors to the public December 22nd. That's a week from today. Maybe we can send your ass there and get you a good machine, man.
Let's go.
Another is to reopen the day after Christmas. A third, the Palace Casino, will have spent $23 million in 4 months to reopen by New Year's Eve, said the general manager, Keith Crosby. I wonder if he's kin to Rita Crosby. Or maybe Bing. Or maybe Sidney Crosby, Sid the Kid. All 10 Biloxi casinos have told the city they'll rebuild, and most plan larger, more elaborate facilities. One, Harrah's Entertainment, Inc., the world's largest gambling company, has told city officials that it plans to invest as much as $1 billion in a new resort casino, a figure sizable enough to catch people's attention even in Vegas. And a growing list of investors looking to take advantage of a new state law allowing the first ever land-based casinos is seeking an audience with city officials or state regulators in Jackson. Never did we believe that Jews like me and the Beast would be in Mississippi, but it's a shot. Because they'll sure be open long before these South Florida ones at Pompano Park and at Dania Highline and at Hollywood Greyhound and at Gulfstream, right?
Right.
At least June, anyway. I'm thinking maybe July. I might have to come down there and see if Dick Feinberg will save me a really good machine.
I can't wait.
Can't wait for what? Slots? Bad news for you, man. You better adopt my strategy. I'm smelling you right now. Don't go there and like plunge your guts out every day. Don't become like hooked.
Well,
see, with me, I enjoy it. I have a good time. Lately, I've been winning a little bit, except for last night. Didn't lose too much. But if I never went again, I wouldn't be okay. But you, of course, you're addicted to gambling because you work at QAM, so you're gambling.
Yeah.
You don't bet on ball games, do you?
No, that's ridiculous.
Please. When we came to that station and George said it was a sports bar with a microphone, I think it's a sports book with a microphone, you know?
It was worse back in the day.
Yeah, Donnie B, he was one of those plungers, and what was his name? Jason?
Jason Blasbog.
Jason Blasbog.
They're on the
and by the way,
internet,
Jason, I still have your copy of Shawshank Redemption. I haven't watched it.
He's in Newton, Massachusetts.
He's in Newton, Mass?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be damned. He's in Wayne Newton?
Selling insurance.
By the way, Wayne Newton's going to be at the Fallsview Casino in Niagara Falls. Any interest?
No.
You could have told the Humper about that. He'd probably zipped right on up there.
I've seen Wayne live.
You have seen Wayne Newton live?
In Las Vegas. He shook my hand.
And let me ask you one question.
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
Just to say that I did.
Oh, how
Me
sad.
and a bunch of 90-year-olds.
For better or worse, casinos are the source of the rarest commodity along our Gulf Coast, battered by Katrina. Optimism. Legalized gaming, said Biloxi's Mayor A.J. Holloway, is going to be what saves us. By contrast, inaction and uncertainty dominate the storyline in New Orleans, which remains largely in stasis. As businesses wonder...
Sorry.
What was that?
Wayne Newton.
Oh, I don't want to know. It's been such an interesting day, you know, and you're giving me like Wayne Newton, Daddy, don't you run so fast?
I know why Daddy was running fast, too.
Yeah, he wanted to get away from Wayne. He wanted to be seen next to him. New Orleans remains largely in stasis as businesses wonder if their customers will return and weigh the wisdom of rebuilding. It's not a question of whether the business community will take a huge hit, but how bad that hit will be, said Jay LaPierre, a local businessman who is chairman of the Business Council of New Orleans, speaks on behalf of more than 50 of the area's largest corporations. Casinos, of course, it says here, can make unpleasant neighbors. Biloxi residents complain about the traffic and the noise. The gambling palaces tower over a once quaint beach community of modest homes as if exotic outsized creatures crawled up from the beach and took root. One casino hotel in this town of 55,000 stands as the tallest building in Mississippi. Another ranks as the state's most expensive. Still, these garish Vegas refugees are proving resourceful, resilient neighbors by serving as an economic lifeline in a town that once lost a fifth of its housing stock and well over 10,000 jobs. You know, that's another thing nobody really talked too much about during this legislative bashing of the will of the voters, or at least attempted deep six, is the jobs that are going to be created. Thousands of new jobs, man. Not nearly as much revenue as they could have had if the legislature wouldn't have deep sixed them and put the 50% tax on it. See, it's not important that you guys succeed, but that we make sure we try to pull you out of business, even though we're partners with you. In fact, one of them rednecks said, well, I'll be damned if I want to see those pari-mutuals, flourishing again. Well, what does that mean? The state is supposed to be in partnership with them. They share the revenue. Well, I'll be damned if we're going to make money through gambling. And by the way, where's my stinking lotto tickets?
This is Neil Rogers.
Not that there's hypocrites out there.
This is 560 QAM.
And this is G. Gordon Liddy, and they don't come any worse than Neil Rogers.
Absolutely.
Holy crap, all is warm in my lap. It came out so silently. Now it's wilting the Christmas tree. Please cover the pies. Silent fart, deadly fart. My cheeks were spread apart.
Rectum.
I guess I drank too much eggnog. So I'll try to blame it on the dog. Rover just cut the cheese.
All right.
Open the window, please. Silent fart, full of methane. It don't smell like candy cane. Left a cloud so stinky and green. It cleared out the nativity scene. Came right out of my bum. Now Santa won't come.
Leave it to the Brits to come up with a stupid expression like my bum. Oh, it rhymes with mum, though, as in the queen mum.
And dumb.
Yeah, as in the queen mum is bum.
I could use some Tums.
No, Rolaids, man. They got a new one for, the multi-purpose for gas and indigestion. Man, that's great stuff. The blueberry ones. You can just chew them like candy.
I like berries.
Oh, we got a heavy snow warning, man. We got like some flurries starting right now. Some Theo flurries coming down. Going to have like they say a foot. I don't believe it. I just looked on the radar. It's I don't know. But at least I got a little window of opportunity there to go up and get my last minute. I get the feeling I'm leaving tomorrow. I am, but I mean, like, there's no show tomorrow. But there is. In there?
Yeah, you betcha.
But why? How do you... This today, now let me ask you, did I... of course you're going to say whatever I want to hear, but I mean, did I do the right thing today? I just... I felt the Spirit of Christ compelled me to...
Of course, it's a very interesting soap opera. That's what the show is.
Well, of course, not only that, but the radio business in general is a soap opera. A really ugly one now. It used to be a lot of fun. Now it's just bastardized. It's pathetic. How do you rate yourself as a human being? 234 votes. B, pretty good, 122. C, average, 39. Now, let me ask you, Beast, during the break, did you go in and ask Mo how he votes on this?
No, I didn't ask him.
Oh, come on. I thought there'd be like a little bonding or something. C, average 39. D, I have many flaws, 33. That was the Beast vote, and believe me, if you saw him, now we're not just talking about physically, we're just talking about as a human being.
Right.
Which certainly includes more than just your grotesque fat. A, the best, 23. Boy, I sure wish I knew those people, don't you?
What people?
The best.
Oh, the A people?
Yeah.
Sound like a bunch of A.
Yeah, holes. F, I'm a piece of Schmidt, speaking of that, 20. And E, not a good person, none. See, there's like a big gap there. A real big fat gap, speaking of the Beast. Anyway, the Mole Meister coming up next. I can't wait.
Bye, bye, bye!